What? Hey everybody, it's me, RDV, and I got two special guests with me. Sorry, there's no Zach tonight. He had a family emergency, and I hope everything's all right with him. So we got Ash on comics here. What? Crazy.
What?
I know, right? We also have Skip and Tosh.
Hello.
Sorry, you don't get like a cool intro.
Some people don't need it. You have to. Others of us need a little extra floating, if you will. Like we need a little.
I'm just looking at his books in the back there. Looks like I think that's World's Finest. Floor.
Infinity Gauntlet, sir.
Infinity Gauntlet.
6.
It's the giant font, one on top of the other one, so it looks like World's Finest.
Font. It is similar font though. I was like, I bought World's Finest. I didn't buy World's Finest. That's not on my list.
Speaking of stuff in the background, what is the image that's on that top box?
On the top box.
Oh, the one that's blacked out.
Oh yeah, it's. I think they just did their own version of from Space Odyssey 2001.
It's a Hal comic box.
Yeah, it's a Hal comic box. Yeah,
I'm so jealous.
Yeah. I wish I could give you a better view, but yeah, it's pretty good.
He says, "I wish I can," and he does it for anyway. That is cool.
Look at that.
Oh man,
dope.
Looks like a giant power button. That's for
some reason. For some reason, Sacramento has a bigger comic mecca than San Diego.
Yep. So
old Sacramento.
Nice. I noticed you got a collection of those boxes. Every time you see it, it's a new box over there. It just seems like it.
Yeah, I might be out of that game for a while because I scored a whole bunch of them for a whole bunch of the white ones for a discount at the shop that needed to get rid of some because they had too many, so they sold them to me for half price.
Your twin will like that.
Oh, he doesn't like the black ones. You mean he doesn't like the black shirt boxes? He only likes black long boxes.
See, you guys are the opposite. You like the white box or the black boxes. He likes the white boxes.
Yeah, we're twin. We're twin yanging instead of yin yang. We're twin yang.
Wow.
As long as you're not ahead of Yang.
I assure you, we're not.
Or whatever his name is.
I'm gonna pretend to feel sympathetic for Zach, so he can at least have someone on his side.
He needs it.
He needs the good insult to cheer his spirits up. He knows we're joking too. He'll get us back eventually. All right. So for those who are just joining us, you've had 3 minutes to basically figure out what we're doing here. We're talking about the books coming out this week. And normally what we do when Zach's here, we basically take 5 books from our pull list. And that's always fun because some people don't have 5 books in their pull list. It's always Zach who's like, I gotta find one more. I guess I'm the only one that's buying all the books on the shelf at my store. I guess.
Dude, it is rare that I get 5 books a week in my store these days. Yeah, there are weeks that have gone by with 0 books on my pull, and I'm like, yeesh. But not today.
It's like I said, there are some weeks where I only have it. I literally everything's pushed back to the next week, so I have like 30 books because they, for whatever reason, like Cowboy Bebop kept getting pushed back. And then this last one, they like this week it's coming out. The new Fantastic Four was released. They released 2 covers last week, and then the rest of the covers are coming out this week. Comic book stores are messed up.
Oh, that's annoying when they release like alternate covers on like not at the same time.
Well, what it is that at my one store I go to, he said he got an email to hold them because they're getting pushed to the Arthur Adam variant. That's coming back next week, or this week coming out. So they're like, don't put it out. So then I go to the other, what I call it the big box store because they do manga and all that stuff. They had there's out. So I called them. He's like, hey, dude, I don't know. You might check your email, but these guys are just putting their stuff out right away. He's like, oh, why are they? So it's just kind of weird that they're doing it. But they said they had an email because I asked them too. I was like, I thought we weren't going to this, but whatever. That's the comic book store's problem. I'm getting Arthur Adams this week though. Sweet book. I already read it last week. Anyway, so we're gonna go from what we're most excited to, or actually, at least least excited to, but not like hate, to what we are, maybe number one or be our best, what we think is going to be great. And then
what we're fifth most excited about
yes.
to our number one most excited about.
And then on Thursday nights, which we do the best of the best, and you guys are welcome to come back as well. Well, usually what Zach and I do is we check out the books we're on the top 5. Did they make it into our favorite books of the week? Because I always go from least favorite to favorite then, depending on how many books I got. And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But that's part of the game. I get to see what's going to be great based off the story, the previous story, and then the cover too. Sometimes it helps me, influences me, which I try not to because that's clickbait sometimes. But
sometimes.
So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen, and then I'll start off with my top 5 or my number 5. And Ash, you said you have 5 now?
I have 5.
Ooh, so we'll go right down the line then. Here. All right, my number 5. And let me know if you guys, if that's too small, you can't see the pictures and stuff. I can always increase the size. Like does that work? Is that better?
Looks good.
Kind of looks the same. So, I don't know. All right, so my number 5. It's because and the reason this is number 5 because the last couple ones started off good, and then it started getting a little weird. And I'm just like, I'm hoping this one gets better. I'm hoping it proves because because I needed this book. It's been a while since they've done this character correctly, and that book is She-Hulk number 4.
Nice. That's my boy Rico.
Yeah, for the coloring, yes, Rico Renzi.
Yep.
So we got Super Fight Club is here. Yes, I'm already cringing a little bit. And She-Hulk isn't going to break the rules. Good thing that Rainbow Rao and Rohei Antonio, I think that's how it's, are going to break the first rule and talk about Just For You. See, I don't know if this is actually ripped from Marvel or is this just leaked Comic Geeks, like somebody in there like every book's great.
Typically it's from the solicitations.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Oof. Yeah. So whatever Marvel gave to previews or whoever, they're just copying and pasting it.
Nice to know. I usually don't read this. I just look at the cover, and that's about it. And then sometimes they list who the characters in the book, and if I'm going off the previous issue, but but yeah, no, she's gonna basically she's gonna break her rules at her job because she's been a lawyer. She's back to being lawyering. She's gonna basically have superhero clients. So I'm kind of excited about this because we got Thing on the cover. And this is the main cover, not a variant. So I'm really hoping that they actually do something with Ben, and it's actually in character and not just written out character, just to make her look better, And right now, the first thing I'm noticing, he does not have a cigar in his mouth.
Of course not.
Marvel. Boo.
They should give him a hayseed.
Yep. So Titania, who's a beautiful woman, and Volcana are also in this as well. Brain. Those been following us on the Geeky Puppet Show. Puppets have been reading, along with some other humans, Secret Wars. And those are 2 characters that appeared in Secret Wars for the first time. So, yeah, I hope I'm with those 2 characters in there, Titania and Volcana, kind of being enemies with She-Hulk. I really hope that they actually, incorporated in her. And, yeah, maybe the Titania, because we saw her the first time in the first issue, those Reddits. Titania actually went against She-Hulk, but then they agreed to not fight because they are both getting bored, So I'm thinking I don't want them to be friends, but they might be frenemies if this continues.
You just did not say that.
Yes, I did say that because that's what's going on with current comic books.
I hate that term frenemy so bad.
I hate you so bad, but let's do stuff together. And they fight over the movie and stuff, and just on the couch having a sleepover and just fighting over. And yeah, that's frenemies. Ugh. So I'm hoping it does not go that route. Other covers in here. This is actually the variant. This looks kind of cool. The different versions of her over the years, different costumes, different Fantastic Four. Different outfits. Oh, look, there's the roided one too. Yep, Fantastic Four costume, and then the original one. So, and the shield too. And then I don't know why there's a Spider-Man. What's with the Spider-Man variants? Why does everything have to be Spider-Man? This looks so bad.
60. It's because of 60 years of Spider-Man.
But so it's just like a Hulk with web shooters. The Hulk would rip up the building.
It's just a tribute cover. It's just celebrating.
I know, but I'm just like it's the concept. This makes me don't. I hope they don't decide to make a Spider Hulk.
Oh yeah, if this were a real thing, I would be dumb. But just showing it as like an imagination drawing, like I'm cool with it.
Yeah. I think we have to say the name one more time. Spider-Man. There you go, Brian.
I think you're getting the right cover. The A cover. I actually like. I have to question though if that scene is in the comic or if it's just
is it like a trailer? Movie trailer.
Because it's a cool looking cover. I think it's well composed.
I mean, I'm not keeping up with Fantastic Four. Does Ben Grimm have his own gym? I know.
Yeah, I'm betting that the artist just was like, this would be really cool to draw. It has nothing to do with the book. There's no boxing ring in the book at all.
Jen Bartel does a lot of the good-looking She-Hulk covers and a lot of some other stuff. So she drew, and look, he's still got the kind of the eyebrow thing, but it's not all the way across though. It's only the eyebrows. I was looking at this. I was like, does he have the unibrow? No, he just has it like here and here. Still, I just like he's got spandex shorts on. All right, so that's my number 5. Well, I guess we'll go right to you, Ash, since you're right next. What is your number 5?
How am I doing this? Am I sharing or am I just telling you?
No, you're just telling me what it is, and I'll click on the book.
All right, my number 5 book is Ghost Cage number 3.
All right. If you would have said Avengers, I can't click on it. It won't let me click on it at all. This site hates Avengers, and I hate it too.
Now, this has an asterisk next to it because I haven't had a chance to read Ghost Cage 1 and 2. I only found them last week. So, and they're double-sized issues, but this one's coming out quicker than I thought, so I'm not prepared. But it could turn out that this is the best book, but I didn't feel right putting it above 5th most interested if I haven't read any of it yet. So, hopefully it's even better than 5th. But I'm stoked. I became a big fan of Nick Dragotta's art when Skip and I went through the East of West series.
Yeah,
his style really grew on me over time, and this is one thing I love about comics. I love being able to love the art of a comic. So many comics these days, the art is just there to service a story. I love when I can have a comic that the artist like draws me and it's just like, I don't even know who's writing it. I don't know what the story's about, but this guy drawing it, I'm going to give it a try. And there's not many of them. And so I get very excited when I come across one, and Nick's such a case. So I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah. And I was talking to Skip about the last time we talked about this. It's kind of like an Earthworm Jim, like, or
this one for sure really evokes that.
It's like the cover, and you can tell it's Image, because I've seen people draw like Invincible, I believe, is Image as well too.
Yes, I'm also a very big fan of stylized art. There's times when I want like the anatomically correct, like the Jim Lee more clean stuff. And if you are a Jim Lee, then that's great. They're one in a million. But I really like artists that aren't necessarily anatomically correct, that they can put their style in, and it's the artwork itself. And while I'm not going to use this as an excuse to advocate for Rob Liefeld, I understand why Rob Liefeld made a lot of people excited because of that same philosophy. Like, there's an energy in some art, and Nick Dragotta, he may not be the most accurate illustrator of the human anatomy or anything, but he just knows how to compose a subject, and he knows how to just make you interested in whatever he's putting on the page. And hopefully some of you guys that are listening understand what I'm talking about, because I'm not being very eloquent, but
makes sense to me. I agree. Reasons like that I love, artists like Jack Kirby and stuff like that, just their imagination and how they can give enough of a reference, and for us to understand, the anatomy and everything, but bend reality and infuse some imagination to give us to spark our imaginations and make us say wow, or oh, like, so yeah, I'm with you. I really have an appreciation, especially for scale. Nick does a lot of things with scale. You can see where the hand is in the foreground versus the background, and all of those different types of things. That dimension and that depth, draws you into the to the image. It feels palpable.
Yeah, it makes the image like I don't know if depth is the right term. It's not really what I'm looking for, but it's not flat. So I guess maybe depth is
3D
somewhat appropriate. It's not some 3D, dimension. But it just
pops out at you. It's like I noticed, like this.
Pops. The image pops more because like a lot of artists they can draw nice lines, but you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes images
draw
just
flat,
appear very flat.
Yeah.
This one pops off the page.
And I'm just
probably the most out of any of the covers I'm going to show tonight.
Like I said, the giant eyeballs, and then like I'm just picturing this thing is like a monster. Does it come up? Is it silent and just behind you, or is it scream and like I said, like that's just hideous? Somebody get him some contact lenses. Clear eyes for dry eyes.
That's what I need.
All right. And does it blink? Whew. Just one giant.
Blink. He does blink. Yeah, he does.
Ooh, that's creepy.
I remember, yeah. Yeah, you'd like the story, RDV. I really like. Well, yeah, because you like tokusatsu and like monsters and stuff like that, right?
I like if the story's good and the art is good, I enjoy it because I love.
Yeah.
I love weird tales. But I like it when I'm usually more the person like the mystery, the action stuff. That's why I've always been drawn to superhero stuff. But sometimes I go out and I read horror comics.
So what you're saying is you're one of those rare individuals that likes comics with good story and good art.
You people are in I'd say, these days.
I'd say if it actually like sometimes like I'll go up based off a cover and like as a book that's on my wheelhouse, and sometimes I find it, and then sometimes I realize I should stay in my wheelhouse. So I'm like I said, I'm willing to go if I can find the book, and like I said, I'm not paying like I'm very hesitant with new books if I'm paying like $6 or $7.
Of course, right?
If I can find it in the quarter bin, or dollar bin. Heck yeah, I'll check it out. But the cover has to catch my eye. Like that one pops, so I'll probably check that out because it kind of looks like Venom, but also looks like a horror thing too. And just like, and I think I saw a preview of that. Does the guy like the creator? Is he dressed in white? Have a cowboy hat? What the? I can't remember.
The creator of the monster in the story, or the creator of the comic?
Not the monster in the story.
The creator of the monster in the story doesn't have a cowboy hat, but is dressed in all white. But at the same time, the comics in black and white. It's kind of manga style. Yeah, so
I was reading American Vampire. Ash had read like the first 6 issues on his channel back when he did stuff on his channel. But which he did.
Now I have a video that's less than a week old.
That's something.
Exactly.
That's Ash on comics. He's not off comics. He's on comics.
Ash,
give him no credit.
Ash on 6 months.
Ash on 6 months.
Because here's the problem that you're putting me in, Vankman, is because tomorrow I'm going to go to the comic book store and I'm going to pick up these 5 books.
Yep.
But then if you want me to talk about them on Thursday, then what am I supposed to do a video of tomorrow?
You can still show it off because we have no. So you have people that watch your channel, and you have people watch my channel. And there's people that watch both channels. So like I said, man, don't just wait for my channel because the people who didn't watch your video are gonna watch mine on Thursday.
So if you guys are watching,
plug
your ears when it's up to me, so that I can do a video of my pull tomorrow, and you'll be surprised.
Well, the other good thing is that Ash, just like me, I don't necessarily just get the 5 books I show you on my list. Sometimes I come across back issues and I pick up too if I'm browsing the dollar bins. So that's one of the things. Don't expect everything you see on here. I'm showing you my pull list. I sometimes I come back with stuff other too.
And I appreciate that. But California is going to charge me so much gas to get to the comic book store. I won't have any money for back issues. So
you'll have back issues. You just won't be able to pay for them to get them.
Yeah, for pushing my car and runs out of gas.
At least you got a small car.
Yeah, and I still put $80 in the tank for 11 gallons.
Jeez. Have you tried the Flintstones method? Like the pedal boat, but you can pedal your car.
Like, I got a little Mini Cooper. I'll be good. Nope.
Well, if you live near the lake shore, like, the ocean, there, you just put a sail on there and you can just kind of wheel it.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Think out the box. Do Mad Max, what they do. All right. My number. Well, actually, we did skip. It's your turn now, right?
Yeah. Unless you wanted to skip me.
I don't want to skip you.
But I'm bump.
It was low-hanging fruit. Sometimes it's the sweetest fruit. All right, here we go. My number 5 for this week, Swamp Thing, number 14 from DC Comics.
I wondered if you're going to have that on your list.
Writer, Ram V, art by Mike Perkins, and colors by Mike Spicer. And let's shout out the letters, because Aditya Bidikar is like one of the best letters in the game. And he works on every single comic. He's like the new Russ Wooten. He's just everywhere.
I'm glad you pronounced it for me, because I butchered that. Did you say, is it Aditya Bidikar?
Yeah, Bidikar.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Just like it looks.
Okay. Well, sometimes it's not.
Sometimes it's not, but in this case, it is.
Cool.
Yeah, I've just been enjoying this book. I was late to it. Shout out to Wes over at Thinking Critical.
16 issues. That's crazy.
Yeah, and it started off originally that it was only going to be
12,
10,
right?
10. I don't even think it was going to be 12. I think it was going to be 10. And
most of these only go 6. so it's
true.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wait a second, I got a question.
Yeah.
When they did season 2, did they just keep the numbers rolling?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right?
Why couldn't they just do this all the time? I'm okay. You keep the seasons. You want just keep the numbers rolling.
Yeah.
If Flash can get 27 episodes or whatever on the CW, we can get 20 whatever of the season.
Make a season 3 starting in issue 17. Let's do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why not? Man.
Yeah.
Unless he's too busy over at Marvel.
Well,
he's going to Batman, so that's probably why. Rom V, yeah, he's getting Detective Comics.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
You didn't know this? Huge news. We've been talking. Damn.
I probably forgot. When is he taking over?
Right after Chip takes over Batman.
Oh,
that's why I said I was like, I can't believe DC found a way to get me to buy not only one Batman ongoing book, but 2 Batman ongoing books. If you would have asked me this at the beginning of the year, I'd have been like, me buying an ongoing DC book? Like, get out of here. And then you're going to buy a Batman book. I'd have been like, you're not catching me buying any ongoing DC Batman books. You don't know what you're talking about. And DC found a way.
Same year. If I would have asked Ash, I would have waited 6 months for an answer.
This might be true, but in this case, you can get him today because he's on the stream with us. But no, this run has been really good. Mike Perkins has just been killing it on the art. It's awesome. Been incredible. Just every single issue that he was on, and he's only not been on, I think, 2 issues. So all but 2, Mike Perkins has been there just killing it. Mike Spicer's art colors have been perfect. It just feels so. It feels so floral and tangible. Like I said, it's just really good. And then Ram V, his poetic style that he writes in nature.
Wow, look at that.
Really lends to this. So it feels akin, like it feels like it belongs in the realm that Alan Moore wrote, but it doesn't feel like it's trying to compete with it at the same time. Like it complements what Alan Moore did. So yeah, man, it's just been really good. And for a book, I'm not going to tell you that it's not decompressed. And decompressed books is a quick way to get me to drop the book if I don't feel like I'm getting enough out of it. But I have to say, Ram V does a very good job of keeping things interesting. It is decompressed, but within that, he does pack a lot into it. So although it's not always that the plot is moving along so quickly, but when the plot's not, the character development is. So I never feel cheated when I get an issue. And the only thing that's sweet about it ending is that it's going to roll right over into or slightly overlap with him taking over Detective Comics. So yeah, I highly recommend.
And we talked about this before last time. You were getting issue 13, I believe. Mm-hmm. And we just talked about these stock alternate covers.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that, the detail. And this is an Alec Holland I saw this. It says Levi something is a new Swamp Thing.
Levi Kamai, yeah.
And
but Alec Holland does play a role in this, and the way that he is used was perfect.
That is just freaky. The eyeballs being pushed aside, and you see the
Yep, you can see the Swamp Thing eye, the green coming in.
Yeah,
I've gotten many of the variant covers, which same like most of the time when I'm buying variant covers, it's indie and they're the same price. So the extra $1 is an additional turnoff for me. But the variant covers have been so quality and so interesting that I have at least 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah, like I said, like the variant covers are probably getting. I normally go for the normal covers. A lot of these series, like this is based the first we saw on the original cover. We have him, the Green Lantern symbol on Swamp Thing's chest.
Mm-hmm. We do.
Yeah, Hal Jordan is guest starring in this. That's kind of cool, and Jason Woodrue as well. Wow. Is he the bad guy in this, or is it Harper Pilgrim?
Harper Pilgrim is a bad guy. Jason Woodrue plays a role. In this, he's not exactly. He's kind of neither. But the way that he's positioned, he doesn't seem like he's helping Swamp Thing, aka Levi Kamai. So
all right, because you watched the series, right? That was on DC Universe.
Nah.
Did you watch it all? It was actually it was really good. And Jason Woodrue was like the guy. His wife was like, apparently she was slowly getting dementia and stuff like that. And he's discovered the Swamp Thing. He wanted to use that to cure her, but instead he turned himself into the thing, which I think is close to the origin. They really want to keep it close to the origin. So I mean, like I said, it was a really, really good show going through. If you ever get a chance to watch it, even though I spoiled a little bit of it, it was acting all the way through, and it has Alec Holland and it has Crystal Reed playing. I believe her name is Anna or Abigail. Abigail, right?
Abby.
Yeah, Abby. And I said, Swamp Thing is one of the characters I've really never really read. It's one of the ones I probably get into. So I mean, would you say this is probably where I should start with this run with Ram V?
I wouldn't start with this
one. I should go back to Vertical.
Yeah, I would go back. I would go back to Vertical. And I mean, it's so easy to say start with the Alan Moore run. The only reason why I would say maybe don't is because none are going to be as good. Like that's easily some of the best writing at period that I've ever read in my entire life. Like mind-blowingly incredible, like mastercraft storytelling. But you can start actually the New 52 one from Scott Snyder, my favorite writer, Snot writer, is actually pretty solid. if you do that one, then you do Alan Moore, and then you come back over to this one, I think that'd be a good path.
Because the Vertical one I read is the one with the first appearance of Constantine, and that's when that was included with the Hellblazer trade. Yeah, that was kind of cool. Yeah. All righty, cool. I said Ramby's a good writer, man. I enjoyed him on Catwoman. Rest in peace, Catwoman.
Dude, if you have not if anyone still has not read The Many Deaths of Layla Starr.
Yeah, I did that.
That is, I have to say, upon reflection, since I've been back into comics when I got back in 2018, is the closest thing to literature in comics I've read.
Definitely.
It is a work of art. That book still resonates in me. And I passed on it because the covers made me go, this is not for me. you know, sometimes we look at books and we go, I know what my tastes are. I know the things I'm into. And, I'm not into this sort of stuff, but I could not have been more wrong. It doesn't guarantee that it will work for you, but it's phenomenally good. And I just love to shout that book out anytime Rom V's on the discussion.
Absolutely. And I said it would get nominated for awards, and sure enough, it got nominated for Eisner's.
Yeah. So now
listen to Ash. It's good. I passed on it because of the cover too. So shout out to dang it, I can't remember his name. RR. I think it's RR. Shout out to RR for suggesting it. It's easily one of the best books I've read in the last 6 years.
Awesome. I'm really excited to see what Ram V is going to do with Detective Comics. If he's going to have, because we have Charlie here, and Charlie's been a big part of the story so far with Joshua Williamson run going through here.
I'll tell you one thing he probably won't do, Bankman. You need to prepare yourself right now, is you probably won't have people standing around eating.
Well, no one is standing around eating in these books.
Oh, I disagree. Last time we talked, about Mariko Tamaki book. I asked,
oh my gosh, one book out of all the books when she took over.
I asked you what page is her food, and you didn't have to go past page 1.
That was okay. I'll just say it. She did 1 page, and she's done so many detective comic books since then. You know, when she took over from Future State was the last time we saw anybody eat food. That was Bruce Wayne. So this full circle, he's eating again. So now we know he eats.
All right. Well, then it sounds like you're already ready to go, but the transition will not be painful for you.
There's no transitioning here at all. All right. So my next book I threw it down here because I figured why not? Because I've been enjoying stuff by this writer, and Dynamite's been putting out some good books. Let's see where it is. I think it's a little further down. Oh, maybe I passed it up already. Where are you? Maybe it is further down. Oh, I guess that's really that far down. Oh, let's see here. Right here, Vampyverse. This is Tom Signosky. So,
okay.
And this was supposed to be like a 1930s classic pulp style.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it has it says version is Meet Disraeli's version of Vampirella, the Vamp, a mysterious crime-fighting 1930s classic pulp style who could give the Shadow a run for his money. That's still to be seen because the Shadow's kind of cool.
Oh, they have okay, so the Shadow's going to be in it too.
I don't know. It doesn't list it as the characters, but I'm just. But I love what somebody said now. He's like, I guess we know what Carmen Sandiego has been up to.
It's perfect.
But look at this cover. Like she's just killing a Nazi. I don't.
That's a cool cover.
But it gives me vibes of Blood Rain. For those who don't know what the game Blood Rain was, it was a damn fear that was going off and killing Nazis during World War II. Nazis that were being led by her father and her other half sibling vampires.
I've never seen so little skin on Vampirella in my life.
I know. Yeah, right? No, she's pretty covered up. But hey, it's the 30s, right?
There you go. There's your alternate. And look, there is Carmen Sandiego. Good covers.
Oh wow, yeah, serious.
Carmen Sandiego.
That's funny.
That hat totally does it. Oh jeez.
Yeah, that's Carmen Sandiego all the way. You know, if the Shadow was in it, and based off of this being a one shot, and it being, you know, pulp style, I could be talked into getting this if I knew the Shadow was going to be in it, because they mentioned
that's the thing. It doesn't list. Usually they do, like they list the characters, but like I don't think even these people even know that the Shadow's going to be here. It's not advertised either, so it's a one shot. So
does Dynamite have the rights to Shadow currently?
They did before, but let's take a look.
Because if they don't, then that'll solve that right quick.
But I don't think he's in here because they're saying can you even get the Shadow run for his money as a dig, you know?
Right.
So I don't think he's in here, but it'd be cool though, you know. Heck, I'd have her go up against the Phantom.
Well, if anything, if he's not in here, which is probably more likely, it just kind of opens the door to say, like, let's do another one shot later where it's 30s Vampirella with Shadow crossover.
Yeah, so
cool.
Because the one shot they have all multiple different covers here. But like I said, the main cover, and there's even a exclusive by Torini on the retailer exclusive. It's probably gonna be like $40-$50. But yeah, Marco Torini does the the version one. Then there's always the cosplay. It always weirds me out when I see the people try to cosplay Red Sonja or Vampirella. They don't exactly like match the comic book. I mean, the comic book women sometimes are drawn exaggerated. I get that. You're never gonna find a J. Scott Campbell. Wait, you will. That's right. There are women without organs. Yeah. It's such a dumb argument.
No, you're right though. I mean, if
there are curvaceous, hourglass figure is a thing.
When you draw women in comics, you do not actually draw them proportionate. You draw them purposely. Their legs are longer.
Yep.
Their hips, depending, can be bigger. Breasts oftentimes bigger.
This is a cosplay model. She's been on there for the past couple of issues. She looks right, you know. Like I said, but yeah, like I said, and like you see, Skip has a friend who does cosplaying covers for Red Sonja. Gracie something or someone you knew. I don't know if you're still friends with her or not, but
Jackie.
Jackie. Okay, Jackie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are you friends with Gracie at all, or do you know who that is? Is the other ginger?
No, I don't think I know her. I only know.
She normally
Jackie
does. She's basically one of the main cosplayers lately for like the past couple of issues, or I guess past couple months.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I've seen her before, and she does. Yeah, she does her own cosplay channel too, and she's also featured on the Red Sonja official channel they have on Instagram. But
that's cool.
Yeah. But like you said, like it's just weird sometimes. You see these cosplayer covers, and like I'm just wondering, like, do these they get approached by like Dynamite, or do like here you submit yourself to Dynamite, like a website, and they're like, hey, you want to be on a cover? Sure. It's just weird. I don't not into that side of the business, but I've always wondered that because the only one who does cosplay covers is Dynamite. I don't see any other companies doing cosplay covers.
Like as regularly, Marvel has done cosplay covers in the past.
Really?
Yeah, it's a lot more rare.
Yeah,
they haven't done it recently, but they have done it.
Titan Comics was doing it for Gun Honey.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah, they did it for Gun Honey. That's true. But yeah.
Oh, and for no, not actually. Never mind. I was about to say for Cowboy Bebop too, but those were the people from the
yes. Show. I do know that what was I gonna say? Xenoscope does, I guess you'd call it's cosplay fan art. It's actually like they drew the characters cosplaying as other like characters from the Fables are dressed up. You've seen that before, like, especially when they had like Halloween special pinups when they're dressed up as Freddy Krueger or other characters that are they may or may not have the rights to, or public domain. I don't know if Freddy's public domain image, whatever. But yeah, Dynamite does a lot of that too. But anyway, so I'm excited. This is a one shot. I mean, if it's good, I'm gonna be sad because I want more. And Tom Sinoski has been pretty good. He wrote The Adventures of Vampirella before back in the Warren Harris days, back in the 90s. And he continued his story that just wrapped up early this year. And he's been doing this stuff. He's going to do Vampirella Strikes as well. I'm just so happy. I'm just so happy when it's not. If I look at the title and remember who the writer is, I'm like, oh, thank God it's not Mark Russell. It's not Christopher Priest. Christopher Priest can do Deathstroke. He can do stuff over there. Just keep him off the latest characters because he doesn't know how to write the latest characters.
Quick update. The last publisher who published the Shadow comics was Dynamite, and they published a solo series that ended in 2018, and they did do the Shadow and Batman crossover with DC Comics as well, 2017 through 2018.
Did they have cosplay colors of Batman? No.
Hey, they might. Who knows?
Some guy just was Batman. Wow, that looks really bad. Go back.
I don't know. Some people look pretty good in those.
I'll only accept Adam West cosplays. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, good luck with that.
Right. All right. So we'll go over. It's Ash's turn now.
All right. My next book is Good Boy number 2.
Wow, I think that's the bottom here. Let's see. Good Boy number 2.
Here it is. Bottom left.
Oh, here. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. The werewolf one.
Nope, not werewolf.
Well, I guess furry, okay?
It's furry, yeah. Get it right.
Furry. Whatever.
I'm sorry. I will not judge your kink, okay? You do what you like.
So this is just kind of a silly book that's I just picked up because I got a thing for dogs. Not that kind of thing, LK. It's
tragic here.
And it's a play off. It's an obvious play off of John Wick. Starts off. It's in a world where there's like dog people alongside humans, and there's these cops, and he has a human partner, and it gets killed, and so he becomes essentially a John Wick type character. He's but it's a dog, so it's like spinning it's on its head. It's very much knows what it is. It's very indie, and that's kind of why I like. I come from a world of indies that are a lot less polished and a lot more just out there kooky ideas, like the days of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Right.
So when I saw this, I was like, I gotta get this. And when you get books that are this indie, also, it's unlikely you're gonna see them in trade. It's unlikely to even find them in digital sometimes. So that's another reason. I was like, if I don't pick this up on the shelf, I'm never gonna see it again. So
nice.
Sometimes you just gotta also just get something different.
Really good. Yeah, this looks like the cartoon, stuff. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's very cartoon style. It's
Sam?
violent, obviously.
Was it Sam and Max? I think it was. The rabbit and the dog.
It's not that kind of cartoony.
Oh, it's not that kind of like violent. Kind of like the brown and rabbit.
Sam and Max wasn't violent. Like this is, but the style of the art, though, as you can see from the cover there, it's a more of a cartoonist style. It's not your typical.
I was gonna say the Sam and Max cartoon that used to be on Saturday mornings was kind of violent, not like in the sense for blood, but
this would have fit right in with the 90s with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and stuff like. So, and it's got mini covers, which you can probably scroll down and see.
There it is. There's they have connected cover. The first one's gonna be Michelangelo. Ooh, that is kind of out here.
Gotta get those TMNT reference covers. I'm not a fan of the alternate stuff, but some people are. So
there's two different covers. Connecting. Oh, it's a metal variant. Ooh.
Yeah, my shop did some shop variants when that book came out, and I had gotten one of them, but it was for the series before this one, because this is another series, right, Ash? This is
it's volume 1 and gonna restart a new season.
Right. New numbers,
The only thing I see wrong with this cover is that instead of having this here, there should be a pizza. Because Michelangelo was the pizza guy.
that would have been pretty cool. Interesting book, though. Yeah, it's pretty much like John Wick, but what if the owner got killed instead of the dog?
Yeah, and the dog was anthropomorphic.
Right. With an adept at murdering things.
Yeah. It'd be cool. This is a book that could cross over with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as well. It would be fun if this got popular and they did something like that.
Ghostbusters of all things crossed over with Ninja Turtles, Transformers, and like the only one they didn't cross over was G.I. Joe. I was like, really?
Well, let's face it. When you get into IDW crosses everything that they have with everything.
That's what Dynamite
mix it all together.
Dynamite's doing that right now. They're on the 3rd volume. It's crazy. But if you can have them cross over and give me a good story as well, I would like it. But all right, cool. And then it's got Kit Wellis doing the art here. And designer, I guess that's a thing. I didn't really know.
I guess I would say if you're a fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like the classics concept, and you like John Wick, this book might be for you.
If you like dogs getting into fights with each other, this book's for you.
If you if you're like me and you like dogs because they'll take a bullet for you, but this dog will
give you
someone a bullet for you.
Yes. Exactly.
Good boy. Sit, Ubu, sit. All right. All right. Skip. What are we going to?
Number 4 book, A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance.
Nice.
Number 9. Published by published by Giant Reactor, which RDV should be more popular with now than ever before.
Rick Remender. This is my next book series again.
Nice. It's different from Deadly Class, just to let you know. It's not like Deadly Class, but it is.
I want to try other Rick Remender books. That's my thing. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I like it, and I'll learn to not always trust the writer, because so far he hasn't let me down. When I find a writer that I like, I stick with that writer.
Absolutely. Yeah. This one is a good one. I mean, for you, I would say I would look into Tokyo Ghost. But it's not very long. It's just 2 volumes. But Sean Gordon Murphy on the art, and a little closer to Deadly Class. I would also say
this also features Wong, right?
Death and Glory. This, yeah, but that don't connect it to the show, my friend. That don't connect it to the show.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, but this book continues to be, just intriguing and interesting. It does a great balance of like letting the visuals do the storytelling mixed with scripting and dialogue as needed. It's not overly wordy, but it's apparent that it doesn't rely on the visuals, so, to the detriment of the story. When things need to be said, things need to be said. But after like so much build up to the last issue where we finally got, the clash that was, I don't want to say promised, but that was foretold almost in issue number 1. We're now at a point where it's like, okay, after you come down from that type of high, after you go through such an experience that the, protagonist and in addition to it, one of the other people in the story go through, where do you go to from there? But not only that, one of the main people in the story got dealt with, but there's still some people that he was connected to that were referenced earlier in issue, I want to say 2 and 3, that I believe are going to come into play now. So yeah, just continues to be a really, really solid book. The art by Andre Lima Araujo is incredible in its detail. And
look at all the vegetables, man. That is just insane.
Yeah.
I forget, you were telling me about there's someone else, another artist you like. He does all the detail in the background, just goes crazy on it. I think it was you, or it might have been Breen, but like that is just for a cover page. Now I'm just curious, like, now is this going to take a scene from the book, or is this as a cover part?
I'm not sure. It's hard to say. Sometimes parts of the pages are on the covers, and then other times it's only cover art alone. But regardless, like you get detail like this throughout the book. Like that was one of the things about it, especially when me and Ash were talking about it before. Like we like it was so detailed, you can tell that they were setting things up visually, so you couldn't really overlook any part, any corner of the panel, because things that we had seen later on played a role in the story, and that was just in issue number 1, let alone all throughout the rest of it.
Do you know, it'd be really awesome, like you're just gonna you read like 3 or 4 pages, and then he turns a corner, and then it's like a righteous search for vengeance, like a movie thing. This is
yeah. Tynan does that a lot.
Yeah,
it's kind of like you get that right here. Like here's the movie credits right here.
Yep.
And then as he's walking, they're slapping.
Yep, and then that's it. And then he turns and does what he's gonna do. But like that's cool. It just feels like those movies.
Yeah. No, you get a sense of that. And then when you flip the page and you look on the inside, there's like a kind of a similar thing that happens, almost like as the credits fade away. You get like a panorama shot of the scene, and then like fades to black and kind of goes into the first scene of the issue or episode.
Literally, this would be like page 4. I'd have like this from the cover. You just read, and then it shows this, and that shows the 2 names, and that's all you need.
Yeah. But riveting storytelling, very much driven by the intrigue. Highly advise the issue.
Now, is this? I mean, I haven't read the other ones. Is this on black and white, or is this from the cover?
The cover is just monotone.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, it's in color. Chris O'Halloran, who also colors my favorite ongoing comic book, Ice Cream Man, is the colorist on here, and who I mentioned before, Russ Wooten, does the letters. So. You can't talk about comics too much without eventually mentioning Russ Wooten, especially.
One of these days we're gonna have to do a top 10 letterers.
Okay, that'd be pretty interesting.
Just going through and just talking about, and then we can just show some of the work and stuff. This because everybody talks about artists. Everybody talks about like the writer. Now, if the person who puts the box on the thing and does that, and then choosing what font they want to use, it's kind of cool. But and again, it may not be for everybody, but
they can make or break the flow of reading a comic depending on where they
make
those creative choices, you know. So
like,
it matters more than people think it does.
It does. It really does. If you have like cursive, like they did with I think that was, I'm not sure who did it. That was a Tim Sale did the art on Long Halloween. Did he do the writing too? Like, or lettering? I can't remember who did the lettering on that. But I always said, like, it's such, like, sometimes it's in cursive. It's like, really?
Yeah. The sad thing about lettering is, by its very nature, is design. Like, a good lettering should not stand out. Like, the whole point of good lettering is to help you get immersed in the book.
Yes.
And be out of the way as possible, help get the flow of the book. So a really good letterer, oftentimes, most people, myself included, aren't noticing. I never like close a great lettered book and go, man, that was lettered awesome. Like, I don't think about it, because the letterer did their job and made me focus on the writing and the art and notice all the other things. They got out of the way. But when it's a bad letterer, when you close the book and just be like, oh, that letterer, that's when it's bad.
Like you said, cursive can be great if it's used properly, but it also, sometimes cursive can be messy.
Well, the letterer's job isn't really in font selection.
No, like, I know.
I mean, that can be used properly, you know, like Frank Miller. I don't remember who his letterer was, but when, you know, a lot of his books, like in year one, used a lot of that. But
yeah,
it's more really just in the structure of like the word balloons, the placement, and like, because you have to understand the art of reading a comic book and how a reader's eyes move from panel to panel. But you also need to work within the constraints of the art itself. Hopefully you've got good artists that understand what a letterer needs, because it's kind of a team project. A bad artist, you know, can make a letterer's job really hard, not because the artist isn't good at drawing, but just because they don't understand necessarily what the letterer needs to do, and they kind of put the art in the way. And the letterer is like, I just need to use this space, but you put crucial date like things here that I can't cover. And a lot of times people don't think about that.
What was it, Elseworlds book with Batman, where he was like in Jack the Ripper? It was like, I should know the name because they made a movie, and I made a movie based off it too. But it was like, takes place in the early 1900s with Jack the Ripper, and you know, Batman's got the different kind of cape. It's more like the Dracula cape. It's got the pop collar. I wish I knew what the name it was though. Gotham by Gaslight. Thank you, Tillium. Awesome, you rock. That had some, like, because that Victorian time stuff, or not really Victorian, but that time period, they did the cursive in there. And sometimes it like I said, it fits in there, but sometimes, like, if your cursive is not that great, your writing style, it can really break a book for me. So, but I do like the artistic style to it. It's like, oh, this is cursive because, you know, everything's scrolled cursive, you know. Like if you're writing a memoir back in that day, like, you know, the scrap paper, this is what it reads. And, you know, like, video games pop up. You play video games, you know, and they're reading an old memoir from the 1800s, you know, and it pops up and it's written in cursive. Like, if you're meant to read it, you're meant to read it. But if you're not meant to read it, you're not going to read it. But sometimes you're meant to read it, but you can't read it. So yeah, lettering is really important, and it can really help or sell a book, because art's great. But if you can't read it and you can't get the story, because you're like, oh, that's what that word was.
Or just the flow, like how it's arranged when there's multiple characters within a panel. You know, if it's not arranged in, you know, in a way that flows and in a logical way, you know, that's when you easily start reading, you know, like you'll read through something and be like, hold on, wait, that was kind of funky. Did I read it right? And then you look closer and you're like, oh, maybe if I read it like this, and then you read it, you go back and forth between the two characters. You're like, okay, that was the right way to read it. When that's not so apparent, like, that's a sign of, you know, I mean, and I don't want to always put it on the letterer, like sometimes it can be on us, but more often than not, it's just not arranged in a logical way to where it flows with how my brain is going through the panels.
Like, and if you're gonna do cursive, do it in the narrator's box. Don't try to do in the dialogue.
I mean, it depends. I don't know. It depends. Like I think it's cleaner in the narration box, but also, like, sometimes, like you were talking about, I've read stories where they're reading something from a scroll or something that's older, and they put, you know, the cursives on into that, or books where they're referencing like other books and stuff like that. It's just, you know, it's a part of design. So, You just have to have an eye for it, and needs to be adding to the story or invisible, not taking away or, or too distracting. Even like the boom pow stuff, like letterers do that stuff too. And, if it's not done in a tasteful way, or if it detracts, then, you got a problem on your hands. But anyway, that was my book. Who's next?
It's going to be my turn.
All right.
Oh. All right. Let's skip to my part.
Skip to your Lou.
I don't have a Lou. I need to get one.
Get a Lou.
Yep. Alrighty. So yeah, like I said, this is a book I want to get into. Like, and then the cover artist is the actual artist in the book.
Yeah, so it's usually like that.
If you could do that, like look at the detail on this guy's face. Now, this isn't an emotion though, but still, like, I can imagine if they're just doing this kind of detail, the eyebrows, just like the crease and stuff. It's cool. It reminds me a lot of the style in a sense. It's kind of like The Walking Dead, the backgrounds and object stuff. But
yeah, I can see the similarities. Yeah.
Yep.
Idea of it.
But like I still said, a Wong's right for thirches, for vengeance, right? That's what I have. A Wong, a Wong Whiteches.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what I want.
Nailed it.
I'm going to hell for that one. All right, my number 3 is actually it's a book I've been reading, and it's actually a callback to some of the writers. Because the writer came back and decided, you know what, I want to continue my book, but not in the sense that you normally would. And this is Venom: Lethal Protector number 3.
Nice.
I always was a fan of him being, of just a villain, wanting to rip Spider-Man's skull, that's like, kill him, make his life a living hell. But he became, apart from, it's basically like, this is what you're getting here is Sony's Spider-Man, but better, I guess. Or not Sony Spider-Man, but Sony Venom. Because he does, so far he hasn't come across Spider-Man in this book, though. But like, he's still considered not really an anti-hero. He's still just Eddie Brock being a villain. He's not trying to be a hero. He's getting caught up in things where people are trying to kill him. So he's basically just fighting to stay alive. And David Michelinie is been doing a pretty good job. I've read some, not most, but a few issues here or there of the original Venom Lethal Protector. And what I read is what you're still getting in here too. Now, the only difference is that you're not getting people smoking cigars, and that's because everyone's a pansy. You can't have smoking in anymore, even in a comic book, because the adult who are buying comic books, not the kids, the adults, might want to smoke. But yeah, we can't encourage people like Breen who are 60 plus to smoke.
But you can show people shooting other people with guns.
That's okay.
But God forbid anyone smoke a cigarette or a cigar or a pipe or even a vape pen. But shoot away. Shoot, murder.
Right. Hey, it's Gil Kane must be on here.
Those noses are just fine, sir.
The nostril shots. That's Gil
now
Kane.
The original Lethal Protector was an anti-hero, so it's interesting to hear you say that he's not an anti-hero in this.
Not really a hero in this one part. Like I said, he's
anti-heroes aren't heroes. That's,
I guess, yeah. I know, but he's not like trying. I guess he's still wanted by the police. So if he's
like Punisher,
but like
Punisher is like a quintessential anti-hero.
Yeah, but I don't know if today's Punisher even kills. Remember he was using those rubber bullets. Venom's ripping people's heads off.
That's not Punisher. That weird horn symbol guy.
It's the Halo Punisher
that traded his guns for swords. Oh, it's so violent. You can't shoot people, but you can slice them in half. That's okay. Don't use a gun. It's bad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. He said, like I said, and I agree with you. It's the world we're living in, because even I remember reading the Punisher Max series. He actually was killing people. That was a Garth Ennis. He was killing them. I'm not sure if it was Stephen Grant. If it was in his run, he switched to using bullets, rubber bullets. the non-lethal, which if you still shoot someone in the eye, you can kill them with a rubber bullet. But
yeah, it's really confounding when I think about Marvel in this sense. Like they're totally okay creating X-Men green when they make like one of the X-Men like an eco-terrorist that murders people that because they're trying to save the planet, but Punisher's bad. Like what? you're not consistent. Like pick a path. I'm really confused.
But like I said, David Micheline, that story's been good. It just feels like I'm reading 90s Marvel again. And some people cringe about that, but I mean, not all 90s Marvel was bad. You know, this has, then there's alternate covers. So if you want Kyle Holtz.
Yeah, Kyle Holtz.
So if you like this,
he is a good Venom artist. Like he's an artist that should be thought of. Like his strength is on a title like Venom. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, so you'd like him as the interior, not just cover.
Yeah, because Kyle Holtz is extremely stylized. So we've seen his work on like Batman and stuff, but some people are like, I don't want to see the super pointy ears and all the crazy super capes and but on Venom, you kind of want like that, you know, you like
slobber and then just
just like the extreme style and stuff. It works for Venom.
Now, if I saw that on the interior and then I see him rip someone's head off and there's just blood and just it, you know, then that's believable. It makes Venom as a monster, he's a symbiote, you know.
Well, the symbiote is a monster, like Marvel kind of turned it around and made
it's an alien. No,
made the symbiote.
That's Cates.
This nice thing. Which I'm okay with, actually. Like Donny Cates, to his credit, whether you're a fan of how his writing style or what he did with the Venom symbiote and how he he created a story path that made you have sympathy for Eddie Brock, and told a story about why the symbiote evolved its personality to become the thing that it was, made sense, and it helped sell it to me. And it's like, okay, I can now buy that both of these characters are some like good things, but yet the rest of the symbiotes aren't, and it worked. So I miss that. Good. I just want to give Donny Cates a pat on the back. Good job. You did something that's very hard to do.
Good job, Connie Dates.
Yes.
Connie Dates.
And Marania, it's pretty easy to guess my picks since we're on issue 3. Have I been doing the same ones, continuing with them? I normally do. I don't really venture off. You know, I do, but like when it comes to books, I'm really interested. And like I said, Venom has been, because of Cates, been going to. And now I got Michelini, whatever you want to pronounce it. I've heard it both ways now. He is pretty good. If not better, maybe than Cates, I would say. It's hard to stretch because, like, I don't know. I mean, either you like
a fine
Cates,
writer. I mean, he did create the character with Todd McFarlane. So I guess he kind of has some authority on the character. But I personally think Cates elevated the character to a new height.
Yes, more than just a villain. And it's just Tyler Kirkham's variants. This is the white cover.
That's a pretty nice cover.
I do like it. Look, can you see where the Venom symbiote is, and you see the top part and everything.
I wish they wouldn't have called this series Lethal Protector, though. I really hate when they reuse names, because you're like, oh, have you read Lethal Protector? Which one? Like, can you call it Lethal Protector 2, like, or something, just to differentiate?
Yeah,
I hate that.
But it's supposed to be between the issues of Lethal Protector of David Michelini's run.
Yeah, it's kind of like the new Fantastic Four that Peter David's writing.
Yep.
Like it happens between like a set of new Fantastic Four issues that he wrote back in the 90s. But it's like, have you read the new Fantastic Four? Same thing. You're like, which one? The ones that came out in 2022 or the one that came out in the 90s? But same thing. Like it gives you, like the 90s feel and the 90s vibe. I can't believe I'm buying a Fantastic Four comic from Marvel, and I'll be buying Batman comics from DC. But here we are, 2022. Who am I? Well, how did I get here?
See what it is? He's starting to like capes. As it is.
It's like The Godfather. Just when I thought I was out, they go and bring me back in.
Well, that's you. Remember, you were out for a while. You're just starting getting back into getting more books.
I still got my books.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, I just wasn't making videos or anything.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you took a break and just.
I did take a break. Like I went to the store and I got a huge, massive pile of books that piled. I was like, but I still picked up like all my polls. Like they just
okay. It
was a long delay.
How long did it take you to read all those? Or are you reading them?
I still haven't finished all of them.
I'm back on issue 1. They're like on 100 now. It really goes by really fast as far as like you realize you're like, crap, I forgot to do this. I got to do this. Like I read my books every week, but if I don't beg and board them that week, like, oh, here comes the next books the next week. It's like, if I really don't do that, beg and board them the next week, and it's like I have like 3 works of books, just stacked up, and like I gotta beg and board them, put them away, and sort them. It's a pain in the butt, but. All right. So let's go to your number 3, Skip, or not Skip. Ash.
My number 3 is My Love for You is Ticking Clock Berserker.
I don't see that book up here. Oh, wait. It doesn't have the E's.
Yeah. This is a book that is immune to damage from Englantine.
No, it's approved by Englantine. He already got the E's.
He already got it.
Matt Kint, Keanu Reeves, man.
Yeah, this is a book I'm still reading. I enjoy it. I have some caveats with it. It has started to get a little bit long in the tooth. Talking about decompression. It's not even really that it's decompressed as much as like it's on a treadmill. Like it's just it's like spinning its wheels. And I'm like waiting like for something to happen. Finally in the last issue, something major happened. And I was like, oh my God. Okay. So I'm back on the bandwagon again. I mean, I never really left the bandwagon, but I was getting a little annoyed. I was like, we don't need 7 issues of Berserker or B, whatever his name is, reminiscing about how he was born at the dawn of time. Like, but so something major happened in the book last issue. I'm very caught up in this. Kind of what Skip was saying about Swamp Thing with Rom V and the decompression, but like you don't care because the writing is so good. There's a similar aspect to this here where there's some quality about Matt Kint's writing that he can even make nothing feel interesting. But it is especially interesting when some of the big key plot points are being revealed. And that's starting to happen. And I'm on this ride. I'm like, I want to know where it's going. And I'm on board until we find out.
Are you getting the Humberto Ramos cover?
Oh, I didn't even look at the other covers. I typically just get the A covers.
I know. This is Humberto Ramos.
There's dogs on the cover.
Yeah.
Might have to get.
He's got one of every weapon. He's got the axe. He's got the shield. He's got this. Wow.
He's got it all.
AK-47.
I might have to get me that cover.
Right. I saw Ramos and I'm like, I didn't think about it. Then I saw Humberto Ramos. I was like, oh, Ash wants this one. So I'm getting this. It's on my, but it's not my top 5. But I am getting the main cover, or I guess cover B, you'd say. I'm getting the Del Mundo. I just love the bullet hole effect on this.
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah, the blood pouring through the holes, and
that's a good cover.
There's so like that's the thing. I was like, when I go there, it's like it's a book I'm enjoying, really enjoying. But then I see like, oh, there's a great cover too. But I'm like, then I look, it's like, okay, how many covers am I getting just for this one book? That's one of the reasons I spend a lot, per week, because I get sometimes I get the variants as well too. And it's just like I look, it's like, all right, I need to choose one, and like it's so freaking hard sometimes to choose, especially if you have like like I was telling you before, for the next Batman Beyond, the White Knight, you're gonna have J. Scott Campbell, and then you're gonna have 2 Sean Gordon Murphy covers as well. It's like, oh, are you kidding me? No, but
yeah. So I don't know. I don't hear anyone really talking about this book anymore, but. It's
really weird. I think I'm the only one that it's usually if it's on my pull list. I don't really go look around Google search or YouTube search, but nobody in our little circle I do brings it up. So it's nice to know that you're reading it.
I know it's probably going to be too violent for some people. This is a very R-rated violent book. And that makes sense. If that's not for you, that's totally understandable. But otherwise, I don't know. There's something about this. I don't know. Maybe it's Matt Kent doing things. I'm just curious. Like, I want to see where this goes, and it's keeping my interest, even if those middle issues were a little bit spinning wheels.
I know what you mean. Like, the last couple of issues have been like his past. They're digging into his past, and you see a little bit what's going on with, you don't trust the people that are helping him.
Yeah.
You see, like, okay, is it gonna go this way, or is it gonna like be like, can I trust this person, or do I not trust this person, or is it gonna be the other way around? I don't trust, or just I don't trust any of them. It's just like it's slowly progressing to the future by showing his past, eventually. So I'm curious how this is all gonna like end. Like, and what was that other one? It's currently another book that Skip was reading last year. Odin's Eye, I think it was.
Odin's Eye.
Yeah, and like, in a sense, like, we're seeing his past and stuff, but is it really his past? Like, or no, that's another question. Like, is this really what's going on in the past? I mean, are we seeing what's really happening? With the people, is this a future thing? Or in like present? Because this is a guy, he's like Wolverine pretty much, but also like more like Vandal Savage with Wolverine in a sense.
That's cool. Yeah.
That's why I look at it. It's like,
yeah, kind of. The interesting thing is just more of like, I just like, what is he? Why does he exist? Like, his own journey is he wants to find out who he is. He doesn't even understand who he is.
Yeah.
And the readers on that same boat, you're like, yeah, I want to know who you are too. Why do you exist? What is your purpose? What made you? What is going on?
He just wants to die too.
It helps me to really identify with B's character, because I want to know too. And then the trusting of the people, like you said, like that.
Yeah.
Dude, and after the last issue, man, I don't want to spoil anything, but last issue was like game changer. It was like, damn.
It's like you identified the character. You kind of feel bad for him because he's like, he's trusting his people, but he's talked his past. People always wanted to use him and stuff.
Yep.
And he's like the point where he's like, as long as you can kill me, promise you can kill me. I just want to die. I've lived and watched so many civilizations fall. I'm just the point where I have nothing left to give. That's like crazy. If they're talking about doing a show with this, and if they do, and they have like, dude, if you're gonna do a show, put it on Amazon Prime, like Keanu Reeves be in it. I'll watch that
Netflix.
show. Oh, it's on Netflix. Like I said,
when this series greenlit, like, it was already, they had a anime and is it a movie? A movie and an anime?
I don't know.
In the works. Yeah. So
I didn't know anything about the Netflix, but if it's, and I know it was greenlit for a TV series, but I wasn't sure where it was going to go. But my thing is, only thing I said Amazon because look how The Boys is over there. If you can do something similar to that, but still keep the tone of the comic book. Like you're not afraid to use.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Keanu's got a plan. I'm pretty positive this book was created for the sole purpose of launching this intellectual property beyond comics. So we'll see. I think.
Oh, that's another.
Keanu can make it happen.
That's another thing. What if they have copies of Keanu and if his character here? Like, what if he's not the original?
I don't know.
That'd be insane.
Whatever the case is, I kind of have a suspicion the way this book is playing out that if they do plan like on an anime or a TV show or something of that nature, movie,
the Animatrix,
I have a feeling like this book is more of like a setup for that rather than create it and then say, oh, now we're gonna make a movie of the comic.
Well, yeah, they might just do what Invincible did. They summarized like the first 20 issues, I'd say, into the first season. So
yeah, they collapse like the first 20 issues into the first 8 episodes.
Yep. So, like I said, if it's all new stuff, I hope they continue to spear the comic book. That's my thing, my goal.
Well, the comic's only 12 issues, as I understand it.
Right now, yeah. Or okay, well, now it's a 9. So yeah, if it's only 12 issues, but still, even if we get like I said, because usually when, like, I tell you about mangas, like a lot of mangas will do that, and when they have the anime, they'll just adapt the actual manga itself. So if they adapt this and then they decide they want to do like, hey, we did the first 12 here, that's in the first episode, like, we're gonna have like the next episode just be like, continuing on, because I want to, is this a prequel comic book for a TV show?
Who knows? I'm in it for the ride. Love Keanu. Keanu's the reason I gave this book any attention. Matt Kent has kept me on for the ride, and I've had a few little nitpicks about the book. It's not 100% perfect, but overall,
true,
it made number 3 for me this week.
Yeah. And did Quinn saying it's anime, he'd probably watch it over watching a live action. But like, dude, if they give me like the Wolverine where you just get shot and you just see him heal, the live action, Keanu Reeves he has healing factor. Oh my gosh, the memes.
Yeah, it depends on Dead Quinn. I'm not sure if you're following this book or not, but it doesn't, the book itself doesn't have like a ton of action.
Yeah.
As far as, so if they were to replicate this as a movie, as like a live action, they wouldn't necessarily need a huge like effects budget per se.
No.
This book really is more drama than you suspect. Most of the action stuff is more like backdrop. It's the character B getting used by the military, and the sequences where he's going and like killing people or whatever is more of like he's a weapon that's being used, and it's more there to illustrate like his existence rather than as part of the plot. The plot is him trying to understand who he is, and he's working with these like scientists and government officials and stuff, and they've promised, oh, don't worry, we're going to find out. You just do stuff for us, and then we'll help you find out. But then are they using him, and or are they just trying to like create clones of him, like, and so there's a lot of mystery in this, and that's where the interest of the story comes. It's not about some super Rambo guy that just kills people.
That's what killed me for Logan. Like, they cloned him. I was like, really?
Yeah. The intrigue. This is an intrigue book, not a super Rambo book.
So I'm gonna, before we get to Skip for the next one, I just want to quick read off Undead Quinn's books. He's getting. Where did I see that? Number 4, his Robin number 15, which I read today. It was actually a really good story. So I hope you enjoyed that one. On his number 3 is Swamp Thing, number 14. So if Skip comes back here on Thursday, you'll be able to talk to him about that too in the chat. And then we'll get to his number 2 when we do our number 2s. So Skip, give me your number 3.
Number 3, Department of Truth, from number 19 from Image Comics.
Wow, I'm surprised.
Skip's got certain books like I do every week. They come out, and that's
Tynan placing ahead of Rom V.
I know, right?
Ahead of Rom V.
Wow.
But like I said, conspiracy. It's a conspiracy, right?
That alone, that notion is a conspiracy.
Oh, oh my gosh, look who the letter is too. I see a connection here. Conspiracy.
I mean, that's really who this is. It's, RDV figured it out. I like Aditya so much that his lettering was even better in the Department of Truth than it was in something. No, this book, I was told by various people, Ash included, to kind of check it out. When I checked it out at first, it wasn't really pulling me in. And I was told by another buddy of mine, like, hey, just like get through, finish the first issue, just finish the second issue. And I went, my comic shop had a sale. It was $1 for back issues. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to commit because I can get the first 5 issues for because I had it digitally, but I can get first 5 issues for $5. So I went, grabbed it, started going through it. And yeah, sure enough, once I got to the 3rd issue, it was over. Hook, line, and sinker. Like, I was in, especially the art. Martin Simons has quickly become one of my favorite. Graffiti style. And just in time for 4th of July.
Now, is this the cover you're getting, the main cover, or what cover are you getting to?
I always get the Simons covers, and then it depends on who else is doing a cover.
Jenna Cha is the variant right here. This is the 1 in 25.
Okay, well, if it's the 1 in 25, I'm definitely not getting
4th of July.
So
look at that. That's
right
crazy.
There. Yeah.
Look at the kid over the. Look at that. There's like a creature in there.
Yeah, all of it plays a role, but like for me, I was into conspiracy, I still am. I don't want to say that I'm not into them anymore. I just don't spend as much time. But for someone who is just entertained by conspiracy theories, this book definitely went through so many of the ones that I was into, 20 years ago, and then it catches up and has some more current ones as well. And
so it does it uses. Does it use? You're saying it basically uses real conspiracy theories?
Yeah, it uses actual
current events.
It doesn't do a lot of current events. I said more current conspiracy theories because it does incorporate some more current ones, but like Pizzagate and stuff like that. But that's
Comicsgate.
Crazy. It was that wasn't really a conspiracy theory, now was it? That was more
Gamergate would be the conspiracy.
Yeah, that one would be closer to it, which they haven't gotten anywhere close to that. But I just like how they tie it in, and same thing. You kind of go deeper and deeper and deeper, and you're in the middle. The main person, Cole, he's not so sure that he's working for the right side. And I think he's getting to the point where he's starting to ask, is there a right side, period.
Poor guy.
So yeah, it's pretty interesting. But yeah, the way that the story is set up, it makes sense. It makes sense why he's asking those questions. Man. I particularly really like I think the character named Hawk. And Hawk is kind of like the old weathered seasoned guy who's been there for a long time. Yeah. And he's really good at what he does, but he's so good that there's a lot of trust given to him, but he also doesn't he's got a long leash. He's not really well supervised. And he's starts to train Cole and kind of trying to break Cole in, really kind of trying to break Cole to see if Cole can stand what this job really entails. And once he gets in with Hawk, you're at the point where you're like, hold on, wait, Hawk, you do what? And you're talking to who? You start to find out, hold on, wait, Hawk is so deep in, is he a double agent? Or is he
triple
playing
agent
the other side? Yeah. Is he? Yeah.
A quadruple agent?
Ugh. But yeah, all of those types of things. But you mix that with Martin Simon's fantastic art in the way that they tie in, and it's really cool. It's it's in a sense kind of faith-based. The more people that believe in this particular thing, it shapes that world. So if there's too many people believing something, then you have to, and it's something that threatens your agenda, then you got to go take care of that. So not as many people are around to believe that, or you got to change the narrative so people start believing something else, and then the world changes.
Talking about comic books being greenlighted for TV shows, this would be an awesome TV show.
It already got optioned.
For what? Do you know which streaming service, or is it a?
I don't know what service, but I know
Hulu would be great to have it on Hulu, or even because I don't know about Netflix, and Netflix has been kind of weird. Hulu has been having some comic book shows on there too lately.
Oh, right on, yeah.
This would fit right in there. I mean, the last one we had was the Brian Edward Hill, wasn't it?
The bad thing about Netflix is they do not stand by their shows. That drives me bananas. Is they're like, hey, we're gonna throw out this show. Oh, it didn't get quite the review, the response we want. Boom, canceled immediately. Dude, you need to foster these shows. I'm so sick of even trying a show on Netflix because I have no faith that they're going to continue it on. So I don't want to be burned.
That's like me on ABC or NBC or CBS. I finally find a show that's not like all the other crap, and then they cancel after a season.
Yeah,
so you're stuck with the shows that are on.
That made me quit HBO for the longest time until Game of Thrones came out, because HBO used to be that reputation. Every show. Cancel. Deadwood, love that show.
Canceled.
Creator had a 4-season vision. After season 3, canceled. I was like, we're not getting the last season. F you.
Yeah, Why the Last Man? Despite some of its faults, I don't think people ever read the books. and it was changing a little bit from the books, but not the point where it was like changing the tone of the story. So, but yeah, it's kind of sad to see that go.
But otherwise, I mean, Netflix has good things on it. It's just, man, like they didn't
lately though, it's been getting more good stuff on there. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they realize that people were leaving. They up their game.
They never stopped having good things. They just opened themselves up to put. What Netflix did was said, we're going to have every kind of show under the sun. The problem is when you do that, you're going to piss someone off because there's going to be people who are like, we don't want that show on here.
Netflix has become more foreign based.
Oh yeah,
I've noticed that a lot.
Global. Yeah.
And I found myself finding anything that's not American, shows, but to be better. So I watch a lot of shows with subtitles, even movies.
Oh, they've got a really good Korean, like selection of Korean shows.
Yeah,
I was watching the Korean remake of Suits, and Suits is one of my favorite regular TV shows. So they have like a Korean version, and it's so cool, like because it's the same core show, but it's like tweaked for the Korean culture and stuff. And it's like, so I'm like, I kind of recognize this, but it's different, and I love seeing how it's adapted for that. Yeah,
but don't get me wrong though. Yeah, Netflix has some bad shows, but they're good shows. You just have to look for them. They're not advertised on websites and now playing.
Well, a lot of the Netflix shows that are really good too aren't necessarily the big, like popular. Like, of course, everyone knows like Stranger Things, but I mean, how many people are watching like Narcos or
Narcos, Department of Truth? Like, give me back to back, then have a crossover.
Netflix, man, let's not forget. Netflix started off. They made their name in original programming with a show that would probably be very similar. Is the what was the Kevin Spacey one?
Yeah,
House of Cards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine Department of Truth done at the quality of House of Cards.
Yeah,
sold. Right? Everyone is just
like Cole Turner. Reminds me of the guy we were reading. I started reading. It was the last. I think it was Jeff Lemire. I forgot. I'm trying to remember the name of the series was, but it had the dog and the astronaut stuff. This little conspiracy.
Oh, Primordial.
Primordial a little bit, and then you mix that with like Frank Miller writing as Ben Urich, trying to track down stuff like in one of these issues where I forget what issue it was, but it is on the channel. It's reading. Check out the Frank Miller issues read, but it's basically I think it actually might have been, was it the death of Elektra or right before that? Ben Urich almost got killed by Elektra because he was looking into things where he's not supposed to be, and it basically
I can tell you Cole is way more of a pansy.
Oh, is he? Well,
he's not that cool.
Ben I was gonna say Ben Urich he's not really that much of a strong opinionated guy. He almost died, and his wife did not like it.
Well, I mean, he did face like Marvel's deadliest assassin.
Yeah.
No, Cole doesn't know what he's doing. He's in over his head bad, and he's really just hanging on by the seat of his pants. He's taken for a ride. And he's just trying to figure out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's cool.
But I gave up on this book after issue 1 because it wasn't at all. I'm a Tynion fan. I read the first issue and I was like, this is not the book that I was expecting it to be. Had some various issues with it and I didn't continue. But you said that this book hooked you on issue 3. Is that right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like I probably need to give a couple more issues and see if it warms up on me.
I remember some of the criticisms that you had in it. When I was reading through issue 1, I was like, okay, yeah, I can see like what he was talking about, what he was mentioning. But yeah, like even into issue 2, you get into them, and a lot of those things like are lessened. And then by the time you get into issue 3, like it's much less about the like the character and a lot more about the plot.
That's
gotcha. Okay,
awesome. Yeah, I usually do that with like books. Like, I was really trying to read the latest Red Sonja book, and as Mikro Andolfo, I think her name is.
Yeah,
whatever, Morocco or Mariko. Anyway, I don't know. It's a weird name. It's all. It's not normally you hear. It's not John or James or Lucy, whatever. Anyway, I gave that series about 6 issues because I was like, I really like the character and it's so much better than Mark Russell's. And I'm just like, I just want to continue on. But then it became like cosplay Red Sonja. And I hate that term. I hate when people use that. Like, thanks, cosplayer Red Sonja. People leave comments or people just talk about that because it's not Red Sonja. So basically what that series became, this girl who was being escorted by Red Sonja or Sonja to go find her where she's going to be, her godparents or grandparents. And along the way, she's like, "Oh, you're my mom now." She kept calling her mommy. I was like, and at first, like Sonja's like, "No, I'm not your mother." And then eventually, she's like, it's like she started like becoming like her, almost like parent like to that. I was like, no, don't do this. This isn't Lone Wolf and Cub where you just keep the cub at the end. I'm assuming that's what it is. I've never read Lone Wolf and Cub. Yell at me now, later, or no. I don't care.
It's a great manga series. It's phenomenal.
I hear everybody talk about it. It's on the list.
It's worth checking out. I mean,
yeah. But Mike
you'll know quick enough.
Yeah. My complaint though, like I said, that's not who Sonja is. She's not just not have a companion. She rarely has sidekicks. The sidekicks always die at the end if she does anybody, or they have a happy ending, they leave. She goes somewhere else. She's just a wandering, barbarian, kind of like how Conan is. To give her like now they have Red Sitha. So I was like, so that was that I said, long rant short. I give that book usually more than what I normally do. I usually do 2 to 3 issues, because I try to, because with today's stuff, either it hooks me right away, or if it's average, sometimes it doesn't hook me till later, or it doesn't hook me at all. And I hate having to give up on a book because I hate starting a book. Now I got those 2 issues. What am I going to do with these 2 issues? Who's going to buy them? I'm going to get my money back on this.
Just donate them to the library. Yeah, they'll give you a tax slip, and then you can just
write it. I know, but sometimes these books are so bad I don't want anybody else to read them.
Right?
Well, then you use them during the winter time. Yeah. But anyway, that's my number 2 book.
Yeah. Yep.
Probably move on to the next one.
Since Undead Quinn hasn't given his number 1 yet, I think his number 2 was Berserker. That's what he said. Number 2 was Berserker, so he's getting that as well. My number 2 is a book I've been reading as well, and for a while now, and they're on issue 5 of it, and it's by a guy who's been dubbed as Chichito by Evil Black Cat. I just love that name, Chichito. It's funny. So even guess what the title of the book is. You'll see
it. Is it Life Zero?
Oh, have you? You guessed it. It is. When I get down to the actual book, there it is.
The Chichito gave it away.
Chichito. I want that. I'm drawn to the zombie stuff lately. Like I like those who checked out Regs.
Lately.
ever since what Walking Dead, Ash, when I read all through that. But before that, I was never into zombie stuff. Like, and I really am very picky when it comes to it. Like, I don't watch like the Night of the Living Dead and like a bunch of remakes of that. No. Interesting. I watched the original one with black and white with Rob. We did a review on it, or Dawn of the Dead. But like, I wasn't like really into, like, it didn't really like do anything for me. I was like, okay, I like the idea of like being able to do what you want in a mall and have no consequences. You can just take what you want, But like the aspect is like it's kind of lonely, And then just all zombie movies are just it's like Japanese like animes. Humans are evil. That's all it preaches. That's why I've never really been into them. This is I gotta say the art is great, and that's one of the reasons I went into it, because it's Marco Cicchetto or Cicchetto, do you prefer? And it's also through a Blaze. Blaze has been pretty cool. There's a lot of books on there.
Yeah, Blaze is cool. They're the ones that do the good Conan books.
Yes.
Or the Sumerian, since I don't have the actual Conan.
The Cremerian? I don't know. I don't know.
You're the butcher of words.
Yes, that's me. Have you ever watched our readings?
Yes.
I concur.
I concur. Yes. So yeah, the art's been great on this. The story is as any zombie book. It's been kind of depressing. People get bit. People you like, die. People you hate die too. And then some of them actually, and it's all over the place. And what's cool about this is they've been doing these little X-Men like covers variants. So I've been liking that, the floaty heads. And it's like I said, I'm really hoping for like a good part, because so far it's just been like, okay, this happened. Oh crap! It's been so sad, kind of depressing a little bit. What's been happening to some of the people in here? Like you get a bond, and they're like, okay. As I said, like well, I really don't want to say who's died because it's really a big part of the story. But like this guy is just like the main guy. He's just had a really shitty like the past couple of issues. Everything that could go wrong goes wrong, and like he's just trying to like you just make sense of this, and they're trying to figure out how did this all start. That's the other thing. You don't know how this like zombie thing started either. Kind of like Walking Dead, in a sense.
It's almost like there's a void, and it's being filled.
Yes,
Kirkman.
Yes. True. So like I said, I've been enjoying the art, and this actually has multiple covers now. Usually it's just the main cover, and then there's like the little variant right here, and this is done by I'll butcher this word too. Casas parody. So
yeah,
yeah,
sounds like.
It doesn't give you. I love it. It doesn't give you like it says it here, but it doesn't tell you like the first names. But yeah, I the last one had a Magneto one cover, and just going through like this is his art going through here. I was just like, dude, this is crazy. And I like when you get an artist like Chichetto who's been drawing. Who should be on Spider-Man, not John Romita, but I'm glad he's not on that crap story. But when you see him writing, just drawing stuff, it's like
what he should be on is an actual Daredevil comic that's not canceled because of some company trying to exploit their fans.
Really? It's still going. Yeah.
No, they canceled it.
When did you hear it was canceled?
When they went and made the stupid miniseries, what was the
event? Yeah, whatever.
That event.
I saw it was still scheduled out.
In Devil's Reign.
Yeah, it was still scheduled to come out. And he said,
they're coming out with another new series of Daredevil because Marvel will always come out with a new one.
What I'm
saying is it should have never stopped at 36. It should just keep.
going. Yeah. It's
Chichetto should just still be doing the art.
It's still Zdarsky though.
We'll see.
Because he's on Batman too. So I mean, like, I don't care. Like if he's on, as long as like, I like that Josh Williams and Cates can put all these books out, but like, I hope that your like focus doesn't get split so far apart where one suffers because you're too busy writing.
Zdarsky's got like 6 books he's writing right now, so it's
and one he's drawing too.
And one he's drawing, yeah.
Yep. So yeah, if you like snow and you like zombies and you like families, dysfunctional families getting back together, that's Life Zero. That's my number 2.
There we go.
Ash, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is one of the best comics that has been coming out. It is the best ongoing series.
X-Men Red.
On the stands. Quit spoiling things. No, just kidding. This was a book that I had no intention of reading.
I'm sorry.
But one day, Skip was like, this is better than Firepower. And I was like, what? And I was like, I gotta read this issue. He's saying it's better. Let me read this. And I was hooked. And it is Righteous Thirst for Vengeance.
Wow. Yes. I feel like we talked about this book before.
Yeah, we did. This book is so damn good. And I feel really bad for all the people who are missing out on this book for one huge reason. This is by far and away my best book to not binge read. The fact that I have to wait 30 days for the next issue and then read it and be like, oh, and then it leaves off every issue on this massive like cliffhanger when I'm like, what? And then I gotta wait in anticipation. It sucks, but it's kind of like tantric sex. When you finally do get the next issue, it's just the wham. And if you binge this book, it'll be enjoyable. You'll read through, blast through 9 issues probably in less than an hour, and you'll be like, that's fine. But you will not have. I would have had 9 months with this book now, 9 solid months, and that burn, that it's like a good, nice hot burn that just keeps going, and you just think, okay, where's this book gonna go? And Rick Remender has surprised me at every turn. Every time I was like, I think I know where this is going now. Nope, totally wrong. And Andre Lima Arajo's art, his style is not particularly my typical like cup of tea, but this guy is one of the best visual storytellers in the business. He's not the kind of guy I would have like a pinup art for, because it's just not my particular. Even though I appreciate it, I like it, but man, does he know how to tell a story through panels. He's one of the best that probably I've ever read, and I'm just floored. And because not many people can do this. I know I've talked a lot of people that know me. You know, everyone knows I'm a huge Frank Miller fanboy. But one of the reasons is not just Frank Miller's writing. He's one of the best visual storytellers the medium's ever had.
The best artist.
And it's not because his art is pretty. Like if you look at Sin City, it's some people can actually call it ugly and make a good argument.
I would say it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's pretty good too. But when I first discovered it, and I was like, ooh, what the hell is this inky, blocky, messy goo? You know, like, but he knows how to tell a story. And once you start appreciating the art of visual storytelling, Skip talked about this. There's not a lot of dialogue. There's not a lot of word balloons in this book. So it's easy to blast through it. If you're a reader that just consumes comics,
sweet,
like Bankman, you'll
I'll
read
be caught up tonight.
Yeah, you'll read it,
you
like
really
an issue
would.
a minute.
Well,
No, seriously, you can blast through it.
Hardly any dialogue.
But this is not a book you want to do that, because Andre's art is he's understands pacing, and the stuff that's in these frames, there's details in there that are important for you to see. It's not like, oh, there's like a can, like he just drew a can on the floor, like that's whatever, it's just background. It's not. The scenes are thought out. Like stuff is there for a reason. There's visual cues and clues that matter, and it's worth it to read this book. Pace yourself. Don't take in each panel. Form a rhythm. Like when you listen to music, you don't listen to music on high speed. You listen to it at the beats per minute that it was meant to be played at. The same thing goes here. You got to put on the brakes. Don't let it. The payoff is worth it. This is a high intensity crime story that just has me on the edge of my seat every issue. This is my favorite. Not that I've read a ton of Rick Remender stuff, but this book has made me like Rick Remender. Like I knew people liked him, but holy crap, this book was not on my radar. So Skip brought it to my attention. I urge people to try this book out, because you can binge 9 issues, but then you can get on the waiting train like the rest of us, and go through that tantric experience. And
it'd be really great.
You will thank me later.
If Rick would actually throw a character from one of his other books in there, this in the background, as like an Easter egg. Because some mangas do that too.
Yeah.
Artists will throw in there like, hey, well, that guy's in there. Is like, it has a small cameo and that's it. So like, and when they do Deadly Class ending, he could do it in there, throw it in there. It's like
that. He could cross. I could see this crossing over with Deadly Class, given the content of this book.
Yeah,
but I think it would have to be an Easter egg, because if it was too overt, I think it could be cheesy. But it's a cool book, man. I love this book. I'm so glad this experience. It's not going to be the same in trades. So I'm so glad I'm getting the floppies on this.
Same. Yeah, easily one of the most suspenseful books on the market. Like the tension that builds like on the pages. I mean, like if you could rate like, you know, your anticipation on like a page turn.
Yeah.
I don't know very many books that would have a higher anticipation rate than this book, because you really, really, really don't know what's happening, but you're on the edge of your seat.
Ash on Comics.
How does he keep it going? This book has gone so many directions, and I'm like, oh, okay. He got the girl. They got out of there. Okay, we can calm down. Nope. Like, it just, that burn keeps going. And every minute you think you're going to have a breather, you don't. You're like, damn.
So here's the quote from Ash on Comics. This book gave me an ulcer.
It could, dude.
Nope, no ulcers.
Could.
I was so stressed out. I couldn't sleep. I had to watch something positive.
Yeah, it's tense. That's for sure. Yeah, great book.
So who's Sonny? And is Sonny the main guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember his name. Yeah, but I'll take Ash's word. I don't remember his name.
His last name, Sonny Chiba.
It's
a face up. Nod to the martial art guy.
Sonny Chiba.
Yep. Cool. Like I said, now I know you both are rating it. Like I said, like, and you both like you. Well, Skip, you're a big fan of Firepower too, right? Yeah. So
yeah,
this is better than Firepower.
Rick Remender is one of my favorite writers. He's been one of my favorite writers for the last 8 years.
Nice.
But anyone listening, beware the caveats I'm saying, because part of what makes this book so excellent is that experience. So if you do the RDV thing where you go and you catch up in 10 minutes, all 9 issues, you're probably not going to come back and go, oh yeah, Ash, I had the exact same experience. Like, so like I said, hopefully RDV, if you get into this, I think you might like it. And then that if you read
just
it
for you,
going
I'll wait
full afterwards, reading individually, like waiting, that you'll get into that intensity. I think you'll appreciate it.
The problem I have with books is if if they're like average books or even some of the good books, if I read it, like I love Firepower, but like I'm trying to remember what happened in the last issue. So I have to go back and reread the issue before I go read the new issue.
Yeah, with these books, because they are so sparse as far as like dialogue, and there's no narration at all. It's like you can easily skim the previous issue before you get to the next one. And usually I'm kind of the same way. I'm like, wait, what happened last issue? I just flip to the last page and then everything comes back. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Oh my God. You know, it's like
I know what I ate. Like, it's like one of the things where I know what I ate for dinner yesterday, but the day before that, I have no idea. It's
yeah.
So,
but these,
you can't go back and read that.
These books are so impactful that, like I said, you'll forget maybe, but like I said, you see that last page and it all floods back into you. You're like, oh my God, yes, because you'll remember that impact. It'll come hitting you. It's just it's a great crime series.
It's gonna hit me in the head.
Perhaps.
All right, cool.
This is my number 2.
You better not be Wong about this.
That's funny. I see what you did there.
Well, the funny thing is, like, the guy who played Wong was also on the show Deadly Class. He was as the principal. That's why it's like it's so funny. It's like, this is his twin brother.
Yeah, you can tell that him and Remender get like you know, forged a relationship during the filming and recording of that show. Because Remender was there every day.
I so want this. I would love to see like just a mini series. Do a mini series adaptation of this and bring that actor in. This is written for him, it seems.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. No doubt about it.
No. They're not gonna get Sammy Hung or whatever her name is. The one that Sammo Hung, the one that's with Jackie Chan's friend. Making it into a comedy. Yeah, Jackie Chan, you say, him and Sammo Hung, where like Jackie Chan was a was a serious guy in his early days, and then Sammo Hung was like the overweight, like, this kind of stupid idiot guy. He could still do martial arts. So it was like that was their routine, So
got it.
All right, Skip, what is your number 2?
Actually, Actually, no, we did his number 2, didn't we?
Did we already do his?
Or no, wait. That's why I'm confused because this was Skip's before. So you did that. So yeah, Skip's number 2. That's right. Let's go with that.
My number 2.
It's the same book again.
No. What's the furthest place from here? Number 7 from Image Comics by Matthew Rosenberg. Art and colors and lettering by Tyler Boss. It's funny. What's cool about this book is we're on issue 7 and I'm starting to hear more people talk about it now. And I'm starting to hear some people, like some folks that would do not reviews, but kind of like previews of books that I knew were on the fence at one point in time, like saying like, okay, no, I'm committed. I'm into the book now. Like, I'm on this ride and really enjoying it. And that's cool because it's one of those books where, at first you're like, what is this? What's going on? You're asking a bunch of questions, not feeling like possibly you're getting all the answers, but you're not supposed to. And then eventually you get so far down the line where it's not that question goes away, but it dulls and it's not as loud and it's not as sharp. And the volume gets turned up on. If I could use a pun, if I could be a little punny.
Did you see this? This comes with a record, the deluxe edition. You get the comic book and it comes with a record.
Yeah, some of the every issue they release a limited amount of these.
$16. Wow.
That's not bad, actually. It comes with a vinyl.
Yeah, 40 pages.
And for only $16.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just good. It's especially the characters. The characters are so distinct, and the way that things are set up, and they're a family. And you really start to feel that. Like you see the leader like looking out for, her different little knuckleheaded groups, and they're even called families in there. There's no adults, but I guess that's the interesting thing about it. And I'm starting to think now about some of my family members or some of the friends that I had where their parents weren't really around in their lives, whether they were working a lot to support them or, just whatever their reasons were for not being so active in my buddy's life. And like how some of my friends like were the mother of the household, were the father of the household, like woke their brothers and their sisters up early and made sure that they got to school or cooked for them and stuff like that. I'm getting that feeling from this book, the way that it's set up, and maybe that's intentional. I'm starting to think that was a clever way for them to arrive at that point, but it's really cool that they did. But all I can really tell you is this group of kids, they have their own place that they're from, but they have to leave it, and they're going around all these territories, and you're really not supposed to travel like that, especially them, because they have a bad reputation. But everywhere that they go, like they go there for a purpose, and they end up having to leave because something crazy happens, and they haven't found the person that they're looking for yet. So it's just this journey of them going to all of these different crazy places, all of these places that at one point in time we've been to convenience stores. We've been to, like county fairs, we've been to record stores, but the way that it's experienced there is just, it's given this odd, really strange and bizarre and kind of scary, creepy characteristic to it. And the personalities of the people that are in the situations are comical and heartfelt and feel like people that we know, like, yeah, I got a friend that would make that stupid decision, and oh yeah, I got a buddy that I got to look out for like this. And, and then, I do something stupid and they look out for me. It's just the dynamics of the relationship. It's really, really compelling. So Matthew Rosenberg and Tyler Boss, from this alone, have become some of my favorite creators in indie comics.
And that's the thing. Maybe I have to read some of his indie stuff, because as DC stuff, Rosenberg, I haven't really just been like, it's been kind of like, okay, it's not like, doesn't really grab me. So I'll check this out definitely, because dude, like that is just crazy. It's like a Kickstarter thing. Like just looking at this, like this $16, you can get a record too.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty neat, and it has like soundtracks and stuff based on the characters. Like are they a band?
The issue. No, they're not a band. They get they get some of their friends to do like different songs. Sometimes they're covers, sometimes they're originals.
Okay.
Yeah, so once you read the book, you'll understand the significance of the records.
I mean, I got to read Homesick Pilots. I got to read 3 Kids, Robert Brank, or the 4 Kids. I can't remember what.
Homesick Pilots is different. There's different creators, but it's a similar feel. Like I like the feel of that. 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank. Yeah, for sure. It's the same creators. Like I would check that one out too.
Yeah,
it's just.
I got to read the first issue of this, and I was surprised. I'm not a Matthew Rosenberg fan, but I thought this was a well done book. It wasn't my style of a book, so the subject matter I didn't find appealing, but that's purely a subjective thing, not a critical indictment of the book at all. So I can definitely see why a lot of people enjoy this. I was actually very impressed. In fact, I was like kind of left with the book going, man, I wish this was more my thing. Like I wish it was subject matter that I was into, because I do like some of the things this book is doing.
Yeah.
So
one of the things that drew me to Deadly Class, I love books that take place during the 80s and then going through the it's been like Tom Skip. Deadly Class has been like pulling a life story that Marvel did for Spider-Man. So they've been like aging the characters by the decades as it goes through. They tell the story. So I've actually been liking that. And I know, like, don't say about the time jump. This is like little baby jumps.
No, I was gonna say back to this book though. Like, so Skip, I was just thinking, like, as good as I thought this book was, and I know you've liked it from the beginning, like seeing it surpass even all your previous choices so far tonight have been really good. Like this being better than all of those. Has this book gotten like better and better as it's gone on?
I was just thinking that like right before you started, like this question and everything. Yeah, like it's gotten better, and so as much as I liked it there now, I think of it as a very dear book. It's grown into a book that like has a certain effect on me, and I'm like there's a difference between like, oh yeah, okay, like I got some good comics coming this week, and oh yeah, it's the week that What's the Furthest Place from Here comes out, or that ice cream comes out, like the books that you really, or A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance, the books that you can't wait to read, the books that like I'm not getting to the comic shop late, on the on whatever day you go pick up your book, like I'm getting there a little earlier, like I want to get my hands on that book. It's become one of those books for me, and I can't even say that it's better than Swamp Thing, and I can't say it's better than A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance, but I can say I like it's the second book that I'm the most anticipated for, and the only, it's just become that dear. Like when I read Ice Cream Man, like it affects my body, like I'm like smiling, grinning, like there's audible reactions coming from me. And what's the Furthest Place from Here, I would say definitely over the last 3 issues has become like a similar thing where I just have a big old grin on my face when I'm reading the book. Like it's like a mental health, support, for me, spending time with these characters. And, I do almost feel like I'm walking into the next portion of their adventure with them, and I'm like, oh damn, like I know I got to keep my eye on him. Like I know she's good. I don't have to worry about her too much. But I know you're going to run away and you're probably going to come back like right after like the biggest thing has happened. It's like, I know their personalities now. It feels like I know them.
That's how I kind of felt reading Deadly Class. And that's why I stuck with that book. It's been a while since I read a book where actually like you kind of get to know the characters, their personalities. Walking Dead did that. Hickman does that with a few of his other books as well. Firepower, how this characters are going to act, especially. Mm-hmm. And it's not like they're not like bland stereotype personalities. No, these are like these characters that feel like they're actually written, fleshed out.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's my number. Cool. That's my number 2.
Awesome. All right. I will go back to the main screen and I'll just read off my list of so we catch up. My number 5 was She-Hulk. Number 4 is Vampyverse. Number 3 was Venom Lethal Protector. Number 2 was Life Zero. Number 5. And my number 1, it's obvious. I mean, if Ash doesn't have his number 1 as this, I'd be kind of upset. Batman Beyond the White Knight, number 4. This Sean Gordon Murphy, since I read like the first, the White Knight, the first book, I was like, I read the first issue. I was like, okay, this guy is a fan of Batman. He's got the Tumblr. He's got all the different Batmobiles and stuff. I was like, this is awesome going through that series. And the Harley Quinn series really showed me that he can still continue a story with another character and still keep me intrigued. Like I like Harley Quinn, but like he solved the problem between Harley Quinn. Everybody says, "Oh, Harley Quinn's just become a Deadpool cosplayer or whatever," just useless and annoying. He decided to, like, you know what? I'm going to listen to that idea, what everybody's saying, and just say there's two separate people. There was a new Harley Quinn, and the Joker's so freaking crazy, didn't realize there was another person impersonating Harley Quinn. So I thought that was really kind of cool that he did that. He separated, like, and then he had those two actually confront each other in the actual book, the Harley Quinn series. He did. I believe his wife actually wrote that. Not even him. I think his wife, he did art. I think his wife did the Harley Quinn series. And then we got Curse the White Knight. Good. I still don't like the idea that Bruce Wayne is now known as Batman to everybody in the world. But I'm kind of like getting past that. That was Curse the White Knight. Now, this is crazy. Now, and this is a spoiler if you read Curse the White Knight, you haven't read the series because you're seeing the Joker right on there. You're like, what's going on? Like, you definitely need to go back and read the first issue of the series because it is just crazy. We got the twins. Harley and Joker's twins are grown up now. You got Jackie. Her name is, she calls herself. She'll as Jackie. What's his name? Joker's last name. It's Napier, I think.
I think it is Napier.
Yeah, Napier. Yeah,
it's Napier.
Yeah, I mean James Gordon's in this. We got Dick Grayson and a new. Well, I guess we have a new Robin. You'll have to figure out who that is, but you can see an alternate cover here. Red Hood's still in here, and then like I said, like Derek Powers. This is taking this series what I already loved, and you're blending it with Batman Beyond. So you're bringing in Terry McGinnis, and Bruce is like he's old, but he's not like he was in the cartoon series. For those who follow that in the comic books, he's not old and decrepit. He doesn't have a heart problem, at least per se. They haven't shown it yet. But it's those two are gonna go against each other, and then eventually, and then it shows this issue. It looks like those two might have to team up or leading up to the next issue. And you learn more about Derek Powers than you did in the Batman Beyond stuff. You just knew he was a guy that took over Wayne's business when he became too ill. He was a corporate snake. But yeah, Sean Gordon Murphy does the main art here, and plus the interior as well, and the cover. So you get all these characters. It's always cool. Every cover is unique too. I like about this. We even get here's the alternate cover here by him. Here's the new Robin, and it shows all the old Robins too. That's kind of cool. And then here's this is Joelle Jones cover. This is the cover C. This is the one I'm gonna be getting as well. I'm getting all three covers. But it's like, dude, it's Ace the Bat Hound. That's cool. And just the whole reflection on stuff. I just like I said, it's I love Batman Beyond. Like Dan Jurgens did a good job, and then DC decided to cancel it and just bring out some more garbage books. The one book they had going, they actually for Batman related stuff was great. And so more than to say about this. I don't want to spoil the story for you, but like I said, you got Terry McGinnis, you got Barbara Gordon, you got Bruce Wayne, and pretty much Derek Powers. And it's interesting for me because I get to see. I know the everybody knows the lore. If you're a fan of the Batman Beyond, you know how it goes and stuff. Just as Sean's twist on it, so it's not exactly true to what it was, but it's not offensive. It's not like, oh, this is garbage. What the heck? He doesn't know what he's doing. It's kind of great. And like I said, like characters are a little bit different than they are in the main universe. And it's like I said, it's not too far fetched. I can see why he did some of the stuff he didn't hear too. But it's like I love the whole Napier thing, and just the whole Bruce Wayne those two kind of like teaming up a little bit. It's like I said, it's not like a woke nonsense like you normally would see from normal in main DC. And I'm hoping that there is another series after this. I know there's a Red Hood series coming out, but like I want more. There was originally supposed to be a Poison Ivy series too. But yeah, that's my number one. Ash, do we have to change?
So my number one is actually a good comic.
Wow.
It's also Batman the White Knight number 4. And since I'm covering, I might as well also announce Undead Quinn. He says his number one is also Batman the White Knight number 4. Yeah. So look, I'm guessing it's Skip. Well, since we're here, Skip, is this yours or do we have a different book for you?
No, we got a different one. This is
cool. All right, cool. I just didn't want to go on if it was for some odd reason, but
oh no, go on, man.
3 out of 4 comic fans here have named this number 1, not because that's objectively makes it the best, but there's something to this book. For me, Sean Gordon Murphy is the most exciting creator in comics. I haven't been as excited about a creator in mainstream comics, at least, since back in the days when Frank Miller hit the scene and it was just changing things. What Sean's done, I don't think Sean's quite as the level, but the fact that he's a writer and an artist is a big deal to me. And White Knight is the comic that got me to come back to the hobby and start buying comics again. And I fully loved the experience of collecting the White Knight and being just involved, meeting people, again, it just, so there's some nostalgia to that. And I just like Sean's voice. Each of these series gets a little bit further and further away from the Batman that we all know. As Sean's version of it mutates, and then he makes a sequel which mutates it even further, and some people don't really like that, but it's clear that this book is an Elseworlds story. I mean, they call it the Murphyverse, and I'm way okay with that. Like when you say, look, we're just doing a what if kind of story, then it's like, cool, I'm down. Go ahead. And his changes and the things that he does, for the most part, I find I really like. I'm not super big on the whole resolution of Curse of the White Knight and Batman being exposed.
Yeah,
but it works. And I know that the Murphyverse is actually a limited thing anyway, so I treat it kind of like a movie series.
And elsewhere,
they don't have 80 years of stories that they're going to tell. They're going to wrap it up, and most likely they might do more. But I know Sean announced originally he just had 3 storied ideas that he was going to do, and this is the 3rd one. So and obviously we're in the future anyway, so he's kind of telling the end of Bruce Wayne's story. And I think what I like is seeing kind of a peek into Sean's fandom, because when you read The White Knight, what you're doing is you're reading a book written by a guy who came into comics as an artist, and his knowledge of Batman was mostly informed by by outside media, like the movies and TV shows and things like that. He wasn't a massive Batman fan growing up, as far as I understand. And so he brings to the table sort of that outsider kind of feel, which if he were the writer on the main Batman story, that might be problematic. But here we get to see kind of how he sees Batman, how it's affected him. And that's why there's a lot of the movie references. Why Joker's called Napier, because he's a fan of the Batman 89, right? Jack Napier. That's why in the original series had all the different Batmobiles from all the movies and stuff, because he brings that. And to me, there's, as much as I like the stories, I think that Sean's a much better writer than he probably gives himself credit for. Is what makes me excited too. The fact that he does actually have a talent for writing. Most artists don't. But yeah. I like that peak and just seeing his joy. Like he's putting to page the things that kind of tickle his fancy. and the way, and it may be a little bit different than mine, but in most cases, I find it kind of similar. Like Venkman talked about the Harley Quinn thing. He recognized the same problems that I did and he did, and put his spin on it and made it. I was like, wow, that's really cool.
It's a retcon, awesome retcon.
Most of these characters that he does things with, like Duke Thomas and stuff, I'm like, this is a better version than the continuity version. Yep. I find myself many times wishing, like, oh man, I wish this was the official way it was done. This is a cool way. Then there's things that wouldn't work, obviously, but whether that being the case, I'm just having fun. All three series so far have just been taking the license of Batman and just trying to have a fun story with it. And that, at the end of the day, as Skip had said about books and stuff, is this the best book objectively that's coming out right now? I don't think so. I could make a stronger argument for, say, like Righteous Thirst for Vengeance, but this is the book that puts a smile on my face. And while I can't wait to read Righteous Thirst for Vengeance, it's more because I'm on the hook. I can't wait to read Batman the White Knight because I'm just a drooling fanboy where I'm just like, and I'm sold. And I buy the A and the B covers, which is something I never do, but I'm willing to buy this book twice just because I'm so enthusiastic about it. And that's what I want about all comics. I wish every comic had that way to make me, to build that enthusiasm, to make me just be like, yes. And just, so that's why that's my number one.
Yeah. And for those who are wondering what else Murphy did before this, check out John Constantine, City of Demons. He didn't write it though, but he did the art for that. And like that, like when I see like his art on doing Constantine stuff like that, it reminded me of the old Vertical stuff. So I mean, I love his spin on the Batman stuff. It's like, as far as his art style. Yeah. At first, it didn't like, oh, this is like Gotham by Gaslight. Let's with the freaking pop color. It's like, but then I was like, it just like kind of worked because I realized this is his version, and I love that, and it just kept that. Even this with like Bruce is like out of prison and he's in a jacket. He's like, and he spray painted the Batman symbol off. So he's like, I'm not Batman anymore, and like so he. Instead of putting the mask on, he didn't. He just, the technology he has, the color, it hides him from all of it. It keeps his face from being viewed by all digital forms of tracking, things like that. So I can see like, oh, that's just kind of cool. He has it because everybody knows like the Batman Beyond stuff has so much cool like stealth technology he put into the suit. So to see that he had an alternative suit too as well, Mm-hmm. It just shows you that Bruce Wayne isn't a one-trick pony.
Another thing that I like that he does is he incorporates in his stories things that kind of make explanations for other things that for me in the continuity didn't make sense. Like for me, I never became a Batman Beyond fan because I could not swallow the pill of Terry McGinnis being, it just, none of that worked for me. It felt really just, but Sean when I read the book goes, in his story, Batman's arrested. Everyone knows he's Bruce Wayne. Like he creates a situation that makes Terry McGinnis Batman Beyond make sense. And so when I'm reading this book, I'm not a fan of, I don't know this character too well because I never really read, and I go, oh yeah, I can swallow this pill. This makes much more sense. Same thing like we do with Harley. I go, oh, this Harley makes sense.
It makes challenging too. Like I said, like if he teams up with Terry McGinnis as and being his mentor, the Batcave is known to the public. Everybody knows about the Batcave. So like, but then again, I think about it's like we've been reading with all the main continuity. Like Bruce has like millions of caves, so he could be like, all right, I can't use the one under Wayne Manor, so I'm just going to use the cave over here. It's like, but yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes, man. Like they're talking about the new Red Hood book coming out. Yeah. So and that's the thing too. Red Hood is still written in character. Like he's probably the most closest character to his character in the main continuity as far as characters goes. Barbara Gordon, she's still the same as she was in the cartoon. She's kind of like still disgruntled and just like, is like, screw this, like I said, it's Dick Grayson is in here too. The only person that's on in here is Damian or Tim.
There's no Damian.
Thank goodness. Oh my
god.
He's anti-Damian.
I only like Damian and Super Sons. I can't stand Damian in anything.
What about Son of Batman?
Well, that is a good point. Only Tomasi can write Damian Wayne.
Did you like early Damian in Son of Batman?
It was more tolerable, but still didn't like him in Son of Batman either. I'm just not a Damian fan.
I just like the fact he's always challenging everybody. He's like, I could be a better Robin than you and all everything. Take you all.
I completely.
That's what annoys me about him.
I have to agree with Skip. Like Tomasi added depth to that character that made me go, oh, okay. Right. You are a punk, but you're a punk that now
he knows how to drive a bus. That was crazy. It's just challenges. And Super Sons, it's like Damian is like, he's like driving the bus, and like I love how John's like, wait, you know how to drive? He's like, it's not that hard. It's like, all right.
Yeah, I try to just blame all the parts about Damian that I hate on the Al Ghul side of his genes, but
they are the villains.
Yeah, but there's probably some Wayne stuff in there too that annoys me. Yeah, just more tolerable within Bruce.
Right. So I feel like we've been just fanboying over this for way too long. So
let's get to the real number one.
Yeah, the one. If only one person likes it, doesn't make it that's that bad, or it means that he sees what we don't see.
Oh, I'm not the only one that likes it. I'm just the only one that had it as my number one.
So what is your number one, sir?
Number one is Ghost Cage. Number 3.
Wow.
Yep, absolutely.
Wow, that's insane.
When you got crazy dynamic art like this in the book with a story that is really interesting, it's like it's hard for, I mean, and it's the finale, so I want to see how it ends. There's just so many factors that have brought this book to this point. But yeah, Nick Dragata, artist, co-writer, Caleb Gollner, who is also the co-writer on there and handles more of the script side of things. Russ Wooten, again on the lettering. Russ, like who is on more comics this time around? Russ Wooten or Aditya Bidikar? Who knows? And Frank. Well, I'll give some love to David Brothers, helping I think with the editing side of things. But Frank Martin Jr., who Ash knows well from East of West, as well as the Venom series that he liked. He was doing the colors on that behind, oh gosh, I'm trying to think who was doing the art on Venom again. Stegman. Ryan Steggers. Yeah.
Every time I forget his name, I just picture those. He draws the Stegosaur on his
signature. That's a nice little mind trick, little mnemonic device. But yeah, we talked about the book a little bit earlier, and with the way that it's gone, finding out about the energy company and how energy consumption is kind of monopolized, in this world. And, but as things get out of hand and the different energy types are personified, they're all going kind of crazy. They're all going on overload, threatening, the city, and not only the city, but the well-being of the energy company, who is, ultimately profits off of them. So, this character, and I believe the character's name is Sam, gets dispatched, and he is an energy source himself, but he can consume other energy sources. So through that, and then so you take that, he gets deployed, but then there's also this employee of the company, and it's one of those people that just trying to climb the corporate ladder, but they're also taking the corporate shaft, on the other end of things. And they're so blinded by their, just gung-ho nature, of trying to be a company man, that they don't realize how much they're getting taken advantage of. But you can only push, everything has its limits. Let's say that. You can only push things and people so far until they eventually get to their threshold. They will get to a breaking point. And in this book, we experience that for a number of different characters, and we also see what happens when, you know, a force of nature and a force of science, you know, come together and have to overcome, which at the cliffhanger of the last issue seems to be something that is just has too much of an army behind it, you know, to really overcome. So it's going to have to be some clever writing in order to land this plane. I did talk to Nick right after issue 2 came out, and he didn't want it to end either. He's like, oh man, like I'm not ready for it to end yet. He said, but we got to land this plane. So I got to figure out how. He's like, I know what the ending is, but I got to work my way through the book, you know, to like get us there. And I was like, you know, I'm excited. Like, don't tell me nothing. I don't want no hints or nothing. I want to read the story. I want to take the ride as the issue comes out. And dang, it's crazy that tomorrow I get to find out.
I got to ask, this is the first time you've actually talked about, like, you know, certain writers and stuff like that. It's like, is all these guys just live around you, or are these guys you've met at conventions and just kept in contact, or just, you know, just people that, you know, you knew and then they put a book out?
Some of them live around me. All of them I met through different friends, but some of them live around me. Some of them I met like at cons or online, like through different friends, and like we're in like group chats and stuff like that together.
That's cool.
Like not even, but most of the stuff that I'm in chats with them for like isn't even comics. It's like sports or video games and stuff like that. That's how like I met Matt Wilson. I met Matt Wilson, the colorist who colors for Firepower and whatever. It's like I don't know if is he still on Thor? I don't know if he's still on Thor, but he's on Thor and stuff.
I'm not sure.
But like, yeah, I met him like through other people and then playing 2K. And like that's how we got, you know, like became close. So
is he a Kings fan?
No, he's a diehard Hawks fan.
Oh.
He's from Atlanta. Well, he lives in Atlanta. He's not from Atlanta, but yeah, he lives out in Atlanta. And no, he's a diehard. Like
we gotta find you some friends who are Kings fans. You know, you're just.
Well,
you're so
I got one.
At least he's not a fan of like one of the stereotypical teams.
Yeah,
no,
like,
another Lakers fan. Oh, another
exactly.
Golden State Warriors fan. Oh,
that's a good thing. Like none of them are like fans of those teams. Everybody's like Warriors, Hawks, like 2 Hawks fans. Both of them are colorists. Brian Reber and Matt Wilson, they're Hawks fans. We got some who was a Blazers fans, and then I already said Warriors fans. So most of them are and Grizzlies fans too.
I feel like a lot of the celebrities are just like it's a thing for them to do to be a fan of the Dodgers, like the go and stuff, the games, likes to be seen. Like that's to keep their publicity up.
Yeah, that's a LA thing though. Yeah. Like most of the fans of like the LA teams aren't even fans. Yeah. It's just
they're like, hey, I'm on the news again. There you go, Kevin Hart. Like it's like they don't care.
And there's so many of them. Like it's not really notable when celebrities are at Lakers fans. Like I mean, at Lakers games, I've been to Lakers games, and you just walk by them like they're everybody else because there's so many more famous people, you know, there because it's LA. So I don't know, it's whatever. But anyway, this book I'm so excited to see how it ends. It's not a story that is very typical for comics in it or for Americanized comics that I mostly read. And just it's got a big manga, influence to it and style to it. So, from the black and white to just how things are played out and, some of the illustrations and stuff like this. So if you just want some dope lines with like some awesome like dimension and stuff like this, with a compelling story and a pretty solid script, I would definitely check out Ghost Cage.
Yeah, the only thing it would be cool about this series is that they like give you like an option to get the action figure, the guy, the little statue.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got to make some money first.
I know, but like,
but yeah, you like he's compelling, right? Like you can see that main character Sam like being a toy, yeah.
Or give me a poster with this. Like that's a poster book cover,
Absolutely.
Because I know there's no.
Everybody go buy it, and maybe we'll actually get those things.
I notice there's no variant covers.
So, no, there's no variant,
which is kind of cool. But I mean,
it's hard to outdo Nick on his own covers. Like,
man. I feel like he'd be like Sean Murphy. He does his own like variants.
I mean, yeah, there is that option too. They definitely were doing some variants and stuff.
Well, flip the book so he'll show his left side instead of his right side.
Right.
So glad. I have so much respect to creators who like, here's a comic. We're not doing other variant nonsense.
Right. Exactly.
So much respect.
I want T-shirts. I want hats. I want all that stuff. Give me the buttons for the skaters. For their backpacks.
Ah, yes, I'll take some buttons. That's for sure.
See, buttons are in. Same with patches.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have all that. I don't mind that. Just don't do the variant covers. That's all I ask.
Yep. Stick to one solid cover.
Where's the Pride variant cover? I'm very offended.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
We got orange. Where's the other colors?
Well, it's black and white, so you can just get out your Crayola box and color it all rainbow if you want.
There you go. Make your own Pride cover or your Pride page. But yeah, definitely very excited. Looking forward to seeing how that lands. That's it.
Well, that's got me excited. If it's that ranking that high, then
you're so
got something to look forward to.
Absolutely. I know. I definitely can't hide it. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Yep. It'll be a good week in comics.
I did flip through it. And man, one thing that stuck out to me, I was like, I feel like I'm reading East to West. I wasn't reading it, but I was like,
yeah,
because his style is so, there's such a signature to his style. So I was like, this just brings me back to East of West when I'm looking at the character expressions and stuff like that. Like, I was like, oh yeah, I can't wait to get into that world of art again.
So here's the trade for this. I guess it's coming out later this year or next year, but it's if it's not already out. 144 pages for all three of these.
Yeah. So yeah, it ended up being like the page count is about the standard size of about a 4 or 5 issue trade, but they're double size issues.
Yeah, so I remember the guy had the long hair and he had like the Colonel Sanders kind of going.
Yeah, that was Archibald Chamberlain, which this character very much resembles Archibald, but not characterized the exact same way. Definitely a person in position of power.
Wow.
But Archibald was a silver-tongued devil, and that was and Hickman, the way Hickman would write his dialogue was a particular way. This one is a little bit more of the mustache twirling dude, but there's a little bit of like the manga style like villain too.
Well, yeah, look at everything behind there. All this looks like manga stuff, Japanese anime. It's just I never noticed it, and I looked this is the second time I've looked at this trade format here. I never really noticed this part, but then I really didn't know this. I was like, dang, there's even a face right here.
Yeah.
So I'm like looking all around. It's like, are there any more faces? We need more skulls.
You really do have to look. Art. That from my perspective is that he definitely, when you look at his art, you're like, okay, you can see the manga influences, but at no time do I ever feel like I'm reading or looking at actual manga art, because at the same time, he's got a lot of Western influences in his art too. He's not just like copying a certain thing. So for Western readers, you're going to look at it, and what's going to stand out are the differences. So it's going to be like, ooh, this looks very manga-like because that's what's different. But if you're a manga reader, might look at this and be like, oh, this has got a lot of Western. Like if you were looking at your this doesn't look. So that to me is a win-win for me though, because I think he kind of pulls the best of the different kind of styles and makes his own. And anyway,
so, and I just noticed that if you look closely, you look at this character here, it's got the high heel boots on, almost looks that way. So it's gender fluid, I guess.
It's a piece of technology, so it doesn't actually have a
like. I just look at the boots as like and then like, is that a heel? I can't tell, but I look over here, it's like, it could be. I have no. I'd like to look at more of this stuff, but I said I still love this, and I love that he has different expressions. Like the other cover we saw, he was raging. Now he just looks normal. Like and then you get the computer all stuff. I love like the Japanese manga stuff, especially when they start Cooley Fooly was another weird one that kind of did some out of the box things. Had a guy with a robot head, a robot, he had a computer head. It was just so out there. So I like it when people do stuff that's not the norm, but that's not their only thing. That they're not just saying like, oh, I gotta draw this, but they actually give you a very intriguing, just one of those stories that you have to pick up the next issue. Just keep reading it. So I'll have to look at this.
Yeah, definitely. Right. And I would say Nick is someone to follow during Inktober too, because he'll do a bunch of stuff that's like outside of.
Oh, I mean, like the little those squares. They do this like each day. They do some of that.
Draw one drawing each day in Inktober. Yeah, he's a great person to follow for that. He's got a crazy, vivid imagination. A lot of his original characters are just like, I'm like, I would never think of that. So.
All right. So Caleb, hopefully he worked on Ninja Turtles, the new animated adventures.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he had worked on some side. I hadn't read any of Caleb's stuff before this, but after getting the script, because I'm like, okay, I know the art is gonna be strong, but this is Nick's like first time writing. I'm like, okay, he's writing with someone, okay. But then going through it, I was like, no, the characters have their own distinct voices and way of speaking. We're using, like a good amount of our lexicon, like there's nice flowery words in there, but also like some pretty straightforward speak. Yeah, I feel like it was just a very well-rounded script on top of a interesting plot. So yeah, it's a very, very well-rounded book. I'm trying not to praise it too much because I was really surprised by how well it was scripted. That was the thing that I was the most surprised by. But it's honestly been scripted better than some of the books that I've been buying every month, thinking that they have pretty good writing. I would easily say script is better than any script that I've read from Tynan, and Tynan is a very accomplished writer.
I got a question for you then, based on this. So next time you talk to Dragotta, I'd be curious to know, did he have any involvement in the writing?
How much?
Okay.
Right? Because he had some involvement in the writing of East to West, right?
Yeah.
Even though Hickman is credited as the writer, Dragotta was like kind of like a silent partner.
He was co-plotting.
Yeah, so I'm curious,
they were basically doing the Marvel method after the first trade. Like he would get like a 1-page thing with the plot, and then he would do the whole book, and then he'd send it back to Hickman, and Hickman would do the script for it. So they were doing like the,
because we talked about this when we covered it, about how like there's something about East to West that stands apart from Hickman's other work.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Right. And so the speculation is, well, maybe Dragotta is that thing. And I'm wondering maybe if there's a similar thing, like this writer writes a book and he's partners with Dragotta, and I don't know how much influence Dragotta, but some people are like that. Like maybe they're not writers themselves, but they're like an idea person, or they just know how to like, oh, tweak this like this, or what if we did this? And I don't know, Dragotta, you do. I'd just be curious to know how much involvement he had.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely will ask that question, and I'll bring it back. I can tell you from reading both and then reading other Hickman work. Hickman, like, and I would advise you to, like, if you're interested in seeing the differences, take a look at Hickman's stuff before he did his East of West, and just kind of keep in mind, like how he writes. You will rarely see like kind of joyful stuff. You'll see like heartfelt stuff, but you won't see like a lot of joyful, and almost like there won't be like a lot of innocence. And then mark his stuff after he did East of West. Like look at some of the more joy-filled parts that he even put in some of his X-Men stuff. If you read his, especially that little RDV, what was that, Moon Knight?
Hickman did, yeah. And it was I think it was the very first
story
in that. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. He has the first story. You can see that he's trying to be less brainy and a little more heartfelt, and have like more like childlike characters and stuff like that in there. And then you read East of West and you read this, like that innocence, that playfulness, and that like, that heartfelt, kind of like, oh, here is a little bit of like someone who's very carefree, in places where they shouldn't be, in places of like danger. They still have a bit of carefree nature and optimism that shouldn't matter as much as it does. And it tends to be the thing that can inspire the more powerful person to push them over the top, for victory. And it very much plays a role in this too. So I can tell you that when you read it and you notice that about it, you'll look at those parallels and you'll think about Babylon from East of West. You'll see the similarities in some of the characters in here. That's what Nick brings. He brings that optimistic, joyful, childlike innocence. And I can tell that's where he's pulling from for his love for drawing. Like you can tell that's where he started to love this stuff. And he brings that along with him and what he creates. So you do still feel like that, like, oh yeah, like this is like cool, or like, whoa, like look at how that thing looks, like it looks all crazy, like how you would react when you were like a kid,
Right.
It's funny that you bring up you talk about the Hickman Moon Knight thing, because you remember how he was like on the moon and stuff, like apparently in Steve Orlando's 2000 Spider-Man book, the 2099, like Moon Knight, like he's like living on the moon. He's wrapped himself in this room with badges. It's like it's just so funny. I was like, wait, did Steve Orlando just really rip off Hickman's idea?
Who knows? I wouldn't be surprised.
He doesn't have the pyramid spaceship, whatever it was.
Oh yeah, that thing,
or whatever we use in. But it's still, I was just kind of funny. I was like, I feel like I've read this character before. It's like, but yeah. Any book that can get you, like, I think it's really cool that like this is like you choose this as your favorite book. There's a lot of books I read that some people don't like, and I just happen to like it. Same with movies. So when I see something like, or just anyone just like you, I see you're really into this stuff, that really piques my interest. Like now I have to like go check this out because there's a reason why Skip likes this. I may not really understand it, but I want to see if it's something that I may like as well.
Absolutely, definitely, yeah. It's like the closest thing I can say it feels like is Donny Cates. Like big crazy, like oh my, like like you have the toys and you're bashing them together, like that whole mindset, except with a little more maturity or a little more of a cerebral feel to it. Like there's a little more to it mentally, not just like excitement wise and then like heart wise. So that's what I would say. If you're into, if you like Cates and like his like explosive kinetic, ideas, that are over the top, then you'll get that with this, but you'll get a little bit more of a cerebral.
Like I said, the one thing I like about Cates, and Ash will back me up on this, is that he'll everything matters. You think it's like, oh, like, you forgot about this. Well, guess what? This happened like, in the very first issue. Now that's coming back into play here. And there's a reason why that happened. Like, oh, now you see like, oh, it's just like, he's just pulling in just building his own world building, but doing it in a sense where you don't really notice that he's world building until later on. It's just like, wow. So when I see like, creators can do that, like that's, and then I like that. I mean, I love a person who's creative, but also like I said, I don't know what Drake is like. I'm great to have a great relationship with him, or just or respectful friendship. I've always been the person I never meet your heroes because I never know how they're gonna be. Like sometimes that can taint your experience. I'm glad you had a positive reaction with this guy. So it's no secret that Cates is a little bit of a dick. Some of these writers, and
it helps when there's a difference in creators when they're, and I don't mean any disrespect to Nick. I mean, obviously I'm buying this book because of him, but he's a small time creator, right? He's not a comic celebrity type, he's got his fans and he does his stuff, but it's not like he's I'll just use Sean Gordon Murphy, right? He's one of the biggest names right now. He's the kind of guy who goes around conventions, is going to get swarmed. Like that goes to your head. Right. It just human nature, not everyone's head, but it has a tendency. And so you'll find that I think if you associate with smaller time creators, they're a lot more grounded and humble. And they're more of, it's kind of like when you deal with people who are into sports, but they're not professional. They do it for the love of it. And then it's when you get into the pro ranks and you're talking to people like LeBron James, you're going to find a different kind of personality. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. I would agree. Yeah, and Nick, like when you meet him, he's like it's funny. He feels like someone out of Deadly Class, but like not dangerous, but he's very rebellious. He's like totally a skateboard like type dude which he still goes to skate parks and stuff like that and skates.
He's Christian Slater blaming the cube.
You know what? That's not far off, and that's kind of his wheelhouse in this time framing. But no, he's like, especially him. To Ash's point, he's not super well known. People that are really into his stuff, he's just super stoked, and like it gets him really excited. His face lights up. Like you're like, you point out like a particular panel or something like that, he'll dive into it. It's like, oh yeah, you like that part? Like, you know, I was thinking about this, and like he's just super stoked off of.
He's a fan,
you know, like off of comics. Yeah, like that's his biggest thing.
That's what I like about Jeremy Adams. He's another big fan of the Flash. You know, like it's the guy who he came from Hollywood, you know, writing scripts for like shows and like, you know, movies, and like decided to dip his toes into writing Wally West Flash. And you can tell this guy who has kids of his own incorporates the whole with Wally being with Linda being married and having these kids back, and the kids act like kids. They're, you know, nothing's in there like, you know, pandering to a certain race or gender or anything like that crap or politics. He just gives you a story that's fun and entertaining, and it makes you want to read the next issue. And then when you see when this guy interacts with people, you can see it in his artwork, and in his, you know, he doesn't, not artwork, but I mean like the writing, as well as when he talks about stuff. You know, it's just someone who is constantly happy and passionate and is not cranky. That's a person you want to be around. And then when he shows, it reflects in their work, whether you're artist or writer, you kind of like, you recognize it, you know.
And I got to tell you, that is where my love of indies comes from. Like even going back into the 80s, you know, when I was a fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Sagio, Jimbo, etc. These were just small time people that just made comics because they loved comics. They weren't there to get rich. In fact, to make indie comics, obviously back then was like a loss of money. They just wanted to share their product and see it published and have people read it. And so oftentimes paying out of their pocket. There was no such thing as Kickstarter back then. And sometimes you would get a much more amateur book, but what you would also get was this passion that would bleed through the page that the mainstream books often wouldn't get, because these are just people, this is their job. It's right. When you do something long enough and it's just this is my paycheck. That passion dwindles, and you maybe had it once upon a time, and maybe some people managed to keep it. Everyone's different, of course, but you could sense that a lot of the mainstream books just were a lot more straightforward, by the numbers. We got to do this, but the indie books were raw, and they were, you know, less polished and stuff, but they had something special, and that's what I like about just even today. It's carried over.
That's 90s Image. And like I said, like those guys, Wildstorm and stuff, when they broke away from Marvel and DC, started doing their own stuff. And you can see not all of it was as great as, you know, as you'd see some of the other stuff that's going on, because you still had Byrne, you still had some Claremont. But you see these guys going over the indie stuff, and their passion going into it was going, and that's what drew people into the early Image books, you know. But it's still carried today, the whole indie mentality. I'm in it as the writer, so I'm going to give you what I like, you know, and I hope that you like it too. It's not where, like, you know, because what having the big, you saw having the big two, and it's the same story in the conversation that's been beaten to death. The big two are just there to put up books that they want you to like. They don't care,
right? But I mean, I'm not even trying to stir up the
no. I know. But I'm just saying,
in
that's
general,
why I've been going to indie books lately, dude. I started with Marvel, and I went to DC. Now I'm going more into indie stuff.
I think that's what I was. That's what I was trying to touch on with, you know, that Place Far From Here book with Rosenberg. Like, I'm not a Rosenberg fan, but all of my experience of his work has been from Marvel, and so I never experienced. And then I read this book that he does, this indie, and you can tell when you read that book. And like I said, even though it wasn't for me, I could tell his heart was in this book. Like, this is a project that means something to him. And even though I don't relate to it, clearly other people do. Skip's one of them, and I'm glad that book can exist. And now I can walk away and go, you know what? I think Rosenberg's a better writer than I gave him credit for, but that's because he got to show his colors in an environment that allowed him to be somewhere where he cared about it, like it was his baby. He wasn't just collecting a paycheck.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Look who's here. Look at this guy stream hopping over here.
Jeez,
well,
jumping host, you fat. Don't you guys ever quit?
Well, it's funny because like I originally was gonna get Brian to come on here, but Brian's like, well, I only got some time because I got to go over to Fantastic Comics or
Yule.
Yeah, he's over there for and then he like we went a little longer than we normally do. Maybe because
only a little bit.
I enjoy the conversation more now. As much as I like to keep these down to like an hour for replay value, but like sometimes I just really enjoy the conversation, and it's maybe I'll do some timestamps for you guys so you can like So if you had 2 hours and 45 minutes till Breen shows up, I literally tag it like 2 hours 45 seconds and like there you go. There's.
I don't know that you want to do that. As soon as I left Yule's stream, the numbers went up.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Did you show off more books instead of your place? So you just replaced your books?
We were talking about Avengers 200.
Yeah.
And then we got done with that. He was talking about the new books, and a couple people popped on.
So, that's why you left. The new books.
No, that's why people showed up, I guess.
No.
Right.
Oh, no, I left because,
So, Brian,
I had the option.
Do you have any new books this week that you're looking forward to you might be reading?
Well, it hit me. I'm reading.
Yeah, that's on my pull list. And sadly, didn't make my top 5, but I mean, that's been a good book. Christina Foss, I think, or Christy Foss?
Yeah, Krista Faust. And back issue's supposed to be coming out tomorrow. I know it's not a new comic, but
no, it's the Spider-Man one, right?
Yeah, but it's like it
was so pushed. It's been pushed back like about a week or two now, I guess. Now it's finally coming out.
Yule showed it tonight, so I don't know if I can't remember if he was showing an actual physical copy or if he was just showing a scan.
Here's Hit Me, and here's the book that you don't want to get. Hit Me has been this is by artists, writers, and artisans incorporated. Upshot, AWA.
Do they seriously need to make up their mind to what their name is?
I know, right?
That's all I gotta say.
Like I know it's AWA, but whenever I see this up here, it's like, oh, why did it say AWA? No, but it is artists, writers, and artisans. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it stands for. But the Upshot part, I'm like, are you AWA or are you Upshot? Like, make up your mind. Why do you need 2 names?
Maybe they could be like Ars Gracia Artists and have like the lion growling.
Yeah. So this is a 90s book. I forgot about that. It's apparently it's there's a description here. I didn't get that feel from the earlier issues, but it's a 90s Atlantic City kind of like place on underground that she.
Wait, you mean it's set in the 90s or it's a reboot of a 90s comic?
It sounds like what they're saying. It's king of early 90s Atlantic City.
I can't remember if there had been any cell phones or anything like that in this or not.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I don't think there was. I mean, if there was, there
were cell phones in the 90s.
Yeah, but they're
but you would know that. You'd remember that because they'd take up half the panel.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I got my first cell phone in 2000, so it's not
that was the
right. But if it says early 90s, I mean, they look like the kind of things that they
early 90s.
Yeah, like you're Miami,
like the general's got the
curling it out. Yeah, the long antenna.
It's only $32.90 a minute. Yeah,
I like the early 80s ones, the portable ones. You crank it. This is and speaking of books that depress you, this is just like kind of I would say it's kind of like Deadly Class in that sense. It doesn't really depress you, but I mean, like the characters change as far as who you like and who you don't like. This character, the main character, I'm starting to like her more. I mean, I don't know if you're supposed to like her or not like her, but
after the first issue, I remember having a back and forth with I think he was probably 16K West, so he was more accessible in those days.
Yep.
Yeah, 19K West. You got to make an appointment to speak to. But
so did you see this?
And he didn't like the book because he said there was everybody sucked, and he kind of had a point. But that was kind of the point.
Yeah,
is this story kind of using the story to make it's sort of like you're getting to know,
deviants,
understand, and possibly like this girl as the story progresses, which to me makes this story work a little better.
Yep. Also, this is the artist for Chariot, Skip. So, or Ash.
I know Chariot, huh?
Yeah, Priscilla.
That was a good book.
Yeah.
I missed the last issue of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You don't know how it ends.
No, I don't. I hope now, Ash, confession. At my age, even if I'd gotten the last issue, I probably don't know how it ends.
I forgot how it ends too, but I remember liking it. And it was optioned a while back. A lot of people kind of maybe remember, but they don't know the importance of it. It was optioned by the director. I was pushing Joseph Kosinski, our boy who did Top Gun 2. Now people know who that guy is. And I'm like, now are you excited? Maybe this guy makes a movie. I hope.
But what
I would love to see him make that into a movie.
In a strange twist of fate, when they got Brian Hill to write the script for Black, when they optioned one of Kwanzaa's books.
No, I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, well, it's in a weird twist of fate. They're going to get Kwanzaa to write the script for Chariot.
Oh,
jeez.
It'll be Chariot AF.
No, well, see, Joseph Kosinski has never failed to disappoint. Never disappointed me.
Take two.
I failed. He's never failed to not disappoint me. How's
Dash on Comics, you have failed this live stream.
Right.
I've been a big fan, and Top Gun. I'm like, now more than ever, please, people will know his name.
Top Gun 3. His son is the pilot now. Rooster's teaching kids.
Dude, we're gonna see a Top Gun 3.
Of course. The more they come out, like I said, they're gonna have when is Mission Impossible gonna end? 30. It's gonna keep going until Tom Cruise can't run anymore. They have to digitally at the end. But
no, they left the setup like Rooster can totally take over the franchise.
That's the thing. Miles Teller was. We'll briefly go in the weeds, and then we'll go back to this. Tom Cruise working is the main star, but then you have Miles Teller, and then he's playing the son of Goose. So it's like, oh my gosh! And they got Miles Teller. The only thing I know from him has been a handful of movies, and then the biggest flop though was Fantastic. So I was like, and I can't really fault him on that. That was just a bad script writing. But I was just like, okay, dude, you got one shot, and the dialogue was great. His acting, selling it, dude. It was arguable, and just justified the way Rooster acted in that movie. So I was like pleasantly surprised by that movie. Hit Me as a book. I normally, it's really out there as far as it's. I've read some other books. I think she did Bad Mother, which I believe Angleton was actually reading it. I don't know if he stopped. If he read all the way through.
No, he really liked it. He kept talking about it, but he sold his set he auctioned his set.
Yeah.
So I sent him mine. He probably auctioned that too, but
nice. Well, he's desperate for money, so it's fine.
I'm kind of kidding. I don't care if he did or not, because I don't know how much of the stuff that I'm getting now I would ever read again, and I know he liked it a lot, so I figured.
Well, if you want to start sending me some of your back issues, I'll take care of them. I won't sell them. I'll tell you. Any early Spider-Mans?
Yeah. When I went out, back issue shopping yesterday, there was one old Spider-Man at this place that had been sitting there for months. I finally decided I'm going to buy it today. It was gone. So I ended up buying the Thor that we did the retrospective on. Damn, I should send Joe a bill.
So, for those who don't know what the premise of Hit Me is a girl, instead of being like the normal kind of like prostitute, like, you know, the hooker and stuff, she lets people beat her up, like punch her and stuff, and she has different prices, you know. And she has this guy who's basically lovesick and like in love with her, like, you know, and she doesn't do relationships, you know, she's not into that. I don't know, it's because of her upbringing. She had you know, parents or whatever, you know, she doesn't do that, you know, and then she gets into over her head in a situation. And she's starting to fall for the guy who she doesn't want to do a relationship with, you know. And like I said, she does things that make you like, okay, like, oh, really? But you got to understand, this is a character who, from the very beginning, she's not supposed to be likable. But she's kind of been redeeming herself a little bit with each issue, in a sense.
So now I know why this is the only book that Eric's getting.
Well, there's Pringles in it,
because he's a sucker for the romance books.
Yeah.
Didn't you get that other AWA book that was the affair or something?
Oh my God, worse.
But you were into it.
Yeah, well, the first one was Jason Starr. Up until that point, I'd never read a bad Jason Starr book. And for 3 issues and a handful of pages, I still hadn't. But it had the most lackluster ending. I mean, it was, I said, it just kind of soured the entire experience. Now, I mean, it has cliches. The computer geek, of course, was in love with his wife. It would have made a hell of a lot more sense for her to be into the guy that got screwed over by the wife. But, you know, I guess you're not allowed to make comics anymore without a lesbian. But, yeah. But
I think it's against some sort of union rule.
Well, as I said, right? You know, Venkman thinks that the girl from Hit Me's fallen for the guy. No, she's not. She's a lesbian. Remember the girl from issue 3? She's like the one she'd drop everything for to, you know, mind carpet with for the rest of the time. So it's,
well, I said she could be bisexual.
Well, I think she likes, she's starting to care about him as a friend and not just as somebody that she can use.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any romantic interest because she's a lesbian.
We won't know until the end.
So hold on. This Star guy that you said you're like, I haven't read anything bad by him.
Yeah, Jason Starr.
Jason Starr. What is he known for?
He's written a series of novels about, I think werewolves. But I don't read the supernatural stuff, but he's written, his stories are always, it's just, they're like, you kind of feel like you need to take a shower after you read a Jason
The Next
Starr
Time
book.
I Die is a book he wrote.
But they're very good.
So,
but and he wrote a Wolverine Max series. He's written some other comics, but this ending was just
Natural Enemy.
Yeah, this series just had. I mean, they call the cops, they bust the guy, they get back together. Which no way on God's green earth, if that guy had even one testicle, he would have done. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I said I was just very disappointed with the ending.
I'm just curious. I mean, you don't buy many new comics, and then the 2 AWA books are both ones that have a little bit of the romance going on.
I don't recall there being any romance in Bad Mother, brother.
Oh, you got Bad Mother too?
Yeah.
All right.
And there was a series. I didn't buy it because I had access to it, but I read all 5 issues where there's this superhero and this guy's actions, I guess, inadvertently causes this guy to die. So he takes over as that hero, and he's got the butler / it kind of looks like Morgan Freeman's Alfred, who's kind of like the brains behind everything. And it was written by Greg Hurwitz, and the artist was Mark Teixeira, and that was really good.
So
I can't remember what it's called.
So Knighted.
Yeah.
I think it is it.
Yep, I know it.
So I was reading up and seeing more about this Jason Starr guy talking about. He's with Irish crime writer Ken Bruin. They
They did a 3-part thing.
Bust.
Bust. Yes, I read all 3 of those. Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, Ken Brun, I've tried to read his solo stuff. It's a slog.
That sucks. Well, it means that they work
together are a good team.
It's called Bust.
Yeah, BUST by Hard Case Crime.
Bust,
there's 3 parts.
Slide,
like the thing on a woman's chest.
No, it would be
bust.
It would be as in like you're under arrest.
Or maybe it's a double entendre.
Hey, you see that little thing that's next to Skip's microphone? Why don't you put one next to yours?
Yeah, this guy's also dead. Yeah, the 3rd novel in the series was called The Max, and then the fourth novel in the series was called Pimp, and then so the series became known as the Bust Quartet.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I read Pimp.
Yeah, Pimp came out in 2016.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I did or not.
But yeah, he's working on characters. He's did writing original works such as The Chill. He wrote that. And then he worked with the Batman, Doc Savage, the Avenger, Sandman for DC Comics, Punisher and Wolverine for Marvel Comics. Yeah. I
put him in there. He kind of reminds me of like Vic Gischler and Dwayne Swarzynski. Those are guys I've read several of their novels also.
Yeah. Gotham Dawn of Darkness, the prequel hit to the Fox TV series Gotham. Oh. It's another tie-in for the Gotham show. He did City of Monsters, which bridged the gap between season 2 and season 3 of the show. So, like you said, I love anybody who does like works for usually for a hard case or the Titan stuff. You know, the stories aren't always be that as great as some of the other stuff, but like it's different, and I love the noir stuff.
I just want to say, Eric, it's okay if you like romance. You don't have to be ashamed.
I've got a gigantic romance comics collection.
I know you do.
I mean, Eric does like bad romance.
Mine's is building. I've got quite a bit. I keep collecting like older ones.
Have a little romantic story.
Yeah, see?
Everyone
thought that was crazy, but now
Charlton, right?
And if that's here's a little
hold on
10-cent Secret Hearts for you.
Ooh,
very nice.
All right.
One of the guys that occasionally does the Fossil show with us, and you can take me off full screen now.
I thought we were gonna get a prequel for the Fossils tomorrow.
He just put out a couple videos where he's completed Young Love and Young Romance.
Nice.
And showing all those off. And
can you pull out a Twilight comic so we can get a Rhaegar?
I cannot. I can pull out a Twilight Zone, but no Twilight.
Well, that's right. He did say Twilight. He didn't say Twilight Zone, so we don't know. They're both Twilights.
Well, Twilight's got the romance.
So does
Eric,
Twilight
tell us for the record, the fans all want to know: are you Team Edward or are you Team the other guy?
Oh, who is the other
name?
It's Jacob.
Team Jacob. Yeah, there he goes.
Team whatever. I'm Team whatever's showing in the next cinema.
You're Team Archie. Or are you Team Jughead?
No, that's different. I said I turned over to the last 2 minutes of Riverdale the other night, and they're like, "There's dead bodies everywhere." I think Archie's dead again.
I just love it. It's like it's just what is Eric? I need a segment where what is Eric Breen reading? This going to pop up on our channel.
The next.
What are you watching?
The next new episodes in 2 weeks, and the little girl from Mad Men, who was Sabrina, is on.
So I guess season 6 is supposed to be the last season. I don't know what season are there of Riverdale.
It's 7 next year.
7, yeah. So yeah, that's what it is. Number 7. So I was like, yeah, you're telling me they're doing the superhero stuff. I was like, no.
Yeah, then I forgot that it was on for about 5 weeks, and I guess they're not superheroes anymore.
That's really a good thing.
But they did something I can't believe that SJWs let them do. One of the lesbian couples, one of the girls from that couple just married a dude.
Oh, was it Tony?
And not for convenience. Yeah. So I'm
because
amazed.
Tony and Cheryl were an item, and then like they broke up, I guess, when we found out that like that Cheryl wasn't really Cheryl this whole entire series. Oh,
no,
what the heck?
She got possessed about 2 seasons ago, I think.
Yeah.
By an ancestor who, by a remarkable coincidence, was also a lesbian.
And so was Tony in that back in that time. Yeah. It's like it was so. I just dipped out at season 3.
Yes. My babysitter's a vampire and a lesbian.
Oh man, yeah. The show started off pretty good. They updated Miss Grundy.
I think she's back.
Oh really?
Somebody else. I think that's Cheryl's new squeeze.
Oh yeah. Hashtag Bughead. They broke that up. No more.
Well, there were like 2 Jugheads staring at each other too in that last 2 minutes.
Crazy.
But I said it's an awesome train wreck.
So we might as well just look through some of the other books that are coming out this week but we're not probably going to be getting. If you're getting Avengers number 57 and you're just loving it, let me know why. Same with
if you're buying Avengers and loving
Jason
it,
Aaron, duh.
If you're buying Avengers and loving it, you're probably hanging out with Comic Com or Comic Drake or somebody.
I heard that. Dude, it's funny, dude. I heard that X-Men Red is better than the original. So I'm not saying it's great. I'm just saying it's kind of funny, like the same name by different.
Kind of hard to be worse
than what?
The original X-Men Red.
X-Men Red.
Oh, yeah. That's like that's choosing between those 2 series is kind of like choosing to jump out of an 80th floor window or a 75th floor window. The end result is going to be the same.
It's Al Ewing.
It's kind of like when they came out with the New America Chavez series and like, oh look, it's better than the original. You're like,
well,
it'd be really hard to be worse than Gabby's.
It was not better because it was, for it to be better, it would have had to have been legitimately really good to offset the glorious awfulness that was Gabby Rivera. So because Richard has a term he used, blandly competent. Apparently, that's what the one by the lady that's writing the new Star Trek movie did. So, what was the point other than to clean up her origin for the Doctor Strange movie?
Here's the other Rosenberg book that's out: DC for Vampires about Harley Quinn.
But what I want to know is, does Daniel Kibblesmith have anything out this week?
I don't know.
Oh gosh,
I've never heard of Kibblesmith. I've only heard of Kibbles.
He was the guy. He was the new Warriors writer.
Oh, really?
Oof. That was intimidated by Night Thrasher. Marvel saw that and they said, "We better take care of this guy." So they gave him a blade.
Yeah, this is coming out too.
I see Skip Tanner shaking his head.
That is so fun. That is so interesting. I would think that Marvel. Well, I mean, they did just put out that Miles Morales book, but why? Like he's like, oh my gosh, yeah, and I was intimidated by the black guy in New Orleans. And like, oh, you were? How about writing a Blade book? Yeah, why would you like to write the scariest black guy in Marvel Comics?
Just bask in that glory right there, people.
This is the book I saw. They're coming out with Boom Studios.
Yes.
Buffy 97.
Really? Now I can't get a full screen to show this awesomeness.
Oh, hold on. I'm on.
Oh, he's got it. Look at Eric Breen.
Look at that. You want a full screen?
I should get myself a copy too.
All right.
Breen only buys good comics.
By Odin's Fade.
Which isn't in the book.
By
right?
Odin's Fade.
And I still can't find that in the book.
That's shoot. It was I'm trying to think of what page it was on.
Please tell me what page it's on, because I swear to God, I'm wondering if mine doesn't have it.
So
if yours doesn't have it, you got cheated, my friend.
So the funny
I'm telling you, I think the Odin's Fade was like a tweet or something.
Yeah, somebody just making fun of it.
I'm starting to think it was too, but Wes swears it's in there, but because remember, I read every page of it.
But was weird was what he said,
too, or the page that it was on.
So because everybody's been doing like the flashback, like the 90s stuff, like so 97 Buffy. I was just browsing it earlier. Max Bemis, who wrote 2018 Moon Knight.
Max Bemis is writing that.
Yeah, I know.
Ass.
He also wrote the very bad Vampirella in 1992. Wasn't that great either. But because he made it into a feminist.
You want to? But you see a recommendation?
Did you? First, wait, no. Just 1 second. I'll just say. Do you see who the variant cover artist is? Kate's wife. I've never seen her pop up doing a variant cover.
I have a few variant covers by her. Ash got a variant cover by her too.
Right here. This is her variant cover.
Who's Kate's wife?
Megan Hutchinson.
Oh, Donnie Kate's wife.
Yeah.
Oh,
sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, I do have a variant cover of Radio Apocalypse.
But I just caught my eye. I was like, I didn't know that she did art and stuff. As far as like covers.
Yeah, she just didn't have the Kate's attached to her name, but yeah, she's been hot on covers for.
So I'll have to look up more of her work.
4 or 5 years.
Pass on this, but if you want a good recommendation, go read the original Buffy series.
The Dark Horse?
Yes.
Yeah.
That looks like someone traced a photo.
Written.
Looks like Breakfast Club.
It might be a picture of Breakfast Club that someone traced for that. Like
that's Judd Nelson right there.
That is total trace.
That probably is what it's from. I'm sure that's by design, obviously.
97 or
Breakfast Except Club for Breakfast Club was like 15 years.
87. But some of the other arts in here, like people I've never like. This is Yoshi. I don't want to say that. That's a swear word. Yoshitani. Like some of these covers are actually kind of cool for 90s stuff. Like this is like obviously Saved by the Bell, right?
Yep, Saved by the Bell homage.
And then we have the Scream, kind of, or the Faculty.
Oh, is that Scream or I think that's Scream.
Yeah. So I just like I said, I don't care about the story, but it was funny to see like I've never seen her on a cover before. So and like I was like just going through this, I was like, okay.
Well, fortunately, a lot of people are going to buy the variant covers out of a sense of nostalgia, thinking there might actually be some nostalgia within the pages.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But they're going to be disappointed because Max Bemis sucks.
Well, he turned her into like he just wrote Vampirella so out of character in 1992. Like it just didn't feel like a normal Vampirella, But
well, he made Doug Ernst a villain in an issue of.
Was that him? I know.
Yes.
I know. I know Doug Ernst was like, somebody to put him in a comic book as a villain, but like I didn't know it was Max Bemis. That's more funny. That's wow. That's who that guy is. He worked on Ice Cream Man apparently. And she did some variants for her husband.
And
she's done some variants. I like her Radio Apocalypse cover.
What band does he front or used to front? I forgot. We used to sell it, but no, actually we didn't sell it as shit. But
Max Bemis.
So,
yeah.
So speaking of variant covers, I just discovered there is a variant cover for Good Boy that's done by Tony Fleeks.
Oh, how perfect is that?
But it's an homage to Frank Miller.
Oh, what?
It's if you've seen the cover of Daredevil where he's got the gun. It's the yellow cover, Daredevil on a yellow background, and he's like pointing the gun kind of at the reader. It's like an old revolver, Frank Miller Daredevil cover. He's like, "Go ahead, make my day," type of. You've seen that's like a real famous cover.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
Eric, pull it out of your couch.
This is the only cover you should have that's yellow.
Say Anything is the name of the band, if that rings a bell to anybody.
John Cusack, buddy. Okay.
Well, that's a better Say Anything.
Yeah, unless it's 2000.
You know which cover I'm talking about, Venkman?
No. For what's
the famous Frank Miller cover?
Yeah,
where Daredevil's holding the revolver.
It's taped to his hand.
No more. It's 184. No more Mr.
Yeah, no
nice
more
guy.
Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, so Tony Fleeks drew an homage cover to that where it's the good boy, so it's the dog, and he's on a yellow background but he's all red and he's pointing the gun.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I need this. Of course, it's a incentive limited to 250 copies in existence.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm like, good luck.
All right, so let me go back and I'll just show the last few. I want a full screen layout. I just want a normal layout. We'll do that. No. Let me go here. Technology, I love it. So, Public Domain is the other book that's on my pull list, but it's on my top 5 because I'm after the first issue, because it's not a one shot. It's issue 1. I'm hoping it's going to be actually kind of cool. We talked about this the other day on the other time. So I'm hoping it's going to be good, but
have you read
it? There's a little trailer for it on the Image YouTube channel.
Oh, I think it says like Substack.
Have you read it?
No.
I've read pages of it because I'm on Chip Zdarsky's Substack newsletter, so he's released like multiple pages over the last like 4 months.
Yeah.
So while you guys are wasting time with comics, I have a question for Skip.
What you got?
All right. Okay.
Sorry, it's been a form of super chat.
I'm gonna need the screen again, Vank.
You were just a diva tonight. You just want to.
I am. I show up, I make demands, and then I leave. All right. Do you recognize this, Skip?
Pittsburgh Pipers. No, I don't recognize that. No.
It's an ABA team that folded in 1971.
Oh, no way. Oh man, I have to look that one up.
Are you familiar with the Super 70 Sports Twitter site?
No, I've never heard of it.
You should follow them.
Okay.
It's pop culture. It's a lot of 70s. Well, it's a merchandise store, and my brother bought 2 shirts for me, and it was this one. The other one was from Airplane, where Kareem says, "You tell your old man to drag Walton and Lanier up and down the court for 48 minutes." So that'll give you an idea of what kind of site he has.
That's awesome. What was the name of the Twitter again?
Super 70s Sports.
Okay. All right, following now.
You will not be disappointed. Trust me. I said there is at least one laugh out loud. Yeah, and tweet every day, and like he has one where he shows Sparky Anderson. He's out on the mound. He's going like that.
And
he goes, "That time Sparky Anderson went out to the mound and called to his bullpen for Ronnie James Dio."
Super 70 Sports found it. Okay, nice. Yeah, it looks like it's got the old Astros thing.
Oh, their merch store is incredible.
Oh, they got a merch store too.
Oh yeah, it's in the homepage.
Okay.
And there's like 6 pages of sports and a lot of defunct teams from the ABA, and there's a lot of things like, remember the White Shadow, that TV show from the 70s? It was Ken Howard. He played a white basketball coach in an all-black high school.
Okay. No, that sounds interesting.
It was actually a good show. And Ken Howard was like 6'7" in real life. He's a big man. It was actually a good show. Well,
Okay.
the school was Carver High, so you can order a Carver High sweat or t-shirt.
Oh, that's dope.
It's
That's
stuff like
cool.
that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Expensive as all get out, but yeah, I said I absolutely love that site.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out.
All right.
Pittsburgh Pipers.
You'll soon become very well acquainted with the phrase "sweet bastard."
Sweet bastard. Oh,
Yeah, because he'll like. There's one. He's got one where he's got a kid, unfolding the Farrah Fawcett red bathing suit poster.
Okay.
And you just know this kid's life was about to change forever. And he's done another one. He said, and a special thank you to all the millions of boxes of Kleenex that heroically gave their lives for this. It's time to monologue.
Back when I was this young, I watched this show.
An eternity later.
Do we still have viewers?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I was going to say, do we still have Ash here? After we started going to sports, I was like,
whoever's listening in, you are a saint, and you are to be commended. So,
yes, you are.
There's 6 other people watching this besides me.
Right.
Wish I had 2 phones. I could just watch 2 accounts. Boost the views.
Get an extra viewer.
Right. Rhaegar, you are a trooper. You sit through some of the weirdest streams we do here.
Appreciate you, Rhaegar.
Maranya, you just enjoy the crazy because you're just as crazy as us.
Definitely.
Undead Quinn, awesome to have you here too, man. Anybody else that I missed? And I think to Helium, I don't think you're still here, but I think you kind of left. Maybe you're in the background. And Tim Lim, if you're actually listening to this still for 3 hours, because you said you watched this in the background or listen to it.
Skip. I got on Twitter and scrolled down to the first Super 70s. Oscar Robertson doing an ad for Mad Dog 2020. And the captions, when Oscar Robertson tells you to start drinking like a homeless person, you're goddamn right. It's time to imbibe.
Right. There we go.
See that? He's got the John Travolta Saturday Night Fever suit on.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they got Chuck Norris and action jeans. What in the world?
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know how many people help him, but my God, they find there's some of the stuff they come up with.
Well, I remember Chuck Dixon. Chuck Norris, no, he had his own jean line company, like drew jeans, martial arts stuff.
And he got an ad from one of those.
Yeah, it was, like I said, that was really cool. If you're we just ask you right now, if you're enjoying the content, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It helps out and us out too, because we're glad that you like the content. The more people that know about this, the bigger we will get, faster, And like I said, this channel is usually just here for fun, but we do like to read on here, and this costs money for the apps, the Marvel and DC apps. So even if you can, $1, it's fine. We have a Ko-Fi bin because we're nowhere near getting monetized anytime soon. And like I said, just click the like button.
Fred Gwynn was one sweet bastard. Literally, no one else could have been Herman Munster.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Herman Munster being brought up on a comic book channel.
Hey, I have a Munsters comic book.
He's gonna look. Here you go, full screen again.
I don't know where it is.
But... for those who are listening and haven't said hello, well, hello. Hope you guys are enjoying what we're doing here. I know we've noticed the number has been going up and down a little bit, but it's kind of cool. We've actually had more than just 2 people watching. We have 3 people commenting. I know Dominic, you were here as well. We're up to 9.
This is not from that, but this should happen to all of us. Employee accidentally paid 286 times his salary, resigns and vanishes without a trace.
Jeez.
Definitely gonna put that on the back burner for some future plans.
Marina says she remembers LaWanda and also Vera DeMilo or DeMilo. Whichever you prefer.
Back in my day, we didn't call it lunch until Lee Majors was bitch slapping George Harrison and Paul McCartney with a tree. That's an actual lunchbox.
What the heck? A metal one?
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, I envy anybody who has the original, like, Saturday morning cartoons or 70s, cartoon or whatever, or even TV shows like the lunchbox, the tin ones.
Dave Bautista, that's his hobby. He's
really
got a massive lunchbox collection.
I've seen I've seen the plastic ones, but I've been like, even those are kind of like, but the metal ones. My older brother, he's 6 years older than me. He had the G.I. Joe one. We have it somewhere upstairs. I have the thermos for it, the little thermostat, a couple, and it has a G.I. Joe on it. But man, what a great idea, man. Get kids like excited about going to school, having a lunchbox. Now most kids just brown bag it these days, but like I had a guy growing up, I had a plastic, even in the 90s, I had a plastic Garfield one. I had a couple other ones. There was a real Ghostbusters one. It's just another way to get money out of parents, and it worked.
The problem with those is the more that kind of stuff went on the lunch boxes, the more the kids were probably picked on.
Yeah.
But
the kids are picked on regardless of that.
When I got robbed, they took my lunch boxes.
In school or
no, when I got broken into.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the two that were down here. That was among.
Which ones were they?
A Batman from 1965 and a Marvel Comics one from 1975. Yeah, that sucked.
Ooh, that stings.
And it was weird. I said, when I was talking to my friend that night, he goes, you're going to find shit missing like days from now that you didn't think it put in the report. Oh, fuck. Hey, I said, what are you talking about? Like 2 days later, where the fuck are those lunch boxes?
Oh, man.
That sucks.
That sucks, man. Did you ever put aside figure about putting up security cameras at all outside your doors?
No, it was a fluke incident. A meth head kicked in the dog door that my sister had when she had the house.
Yeah.
I would have never thought of that in a million years. And he was able to reach up and unlock the door and got in, and they're probably out the door in like 3 minutes because you never know.
And they never caught him.
Oh God, no. Those do you think those ever get caught?
Well, you always say you're like in a small town.
No, I told you I had a Hank Aaron rookie card and a Ted Williams card stolen. The police report said in 1954 Hank Williams.
You know what else is a small town? Uvalde, Texas.
Ash, let's not go there.
Just saying. Small towns don't make for good cops necessarily.
I
see the cop is like, I got a Hank Aaron card.
when one of our Phil's records got broken into one night, the thief left blood on the door. It was like corrugated. Is that the right word? Glass.
Yeah.
We had to pry it out, and we had Jack's Glass come in to do a new door. Cop came in and asked them to hold that sample, and he put a CD on hold, and he said, I'll come back to pick them up later. Comes back later in the day, picks up the CD, leaves the blood sample.
Wow.
When we had a guy, remember the big Pink Floyd box from the 90s?
Yeah, the big gift box.
Yeah, the Shine On box.
Yeah.
Well, I had a guy, I showed it to some guy at the store one time, and he just took off with it. And this was back when I could still run. So I chased him, out across the parking lot and up to the next one. Saw the car they got into, got the license plate, but I couldn't accurately describe the guy because most of the time I was, chasing him.
Mm-hmm.
And the cops showed me 6 guys that could have been sextuplets. If these cops, because I knew his name.
Yeah.
And the guy goes, I guess they got a free Pink Floyd box set.
What a jerk.
Wow.
Yeah. I said,
is that Boss Hung?
It might as well have been.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I said, I'm Yeah, I'm pro law enforcement.
You know what, though?
Damn,
back in the days when you still could run,
cops.
We were allowed to tackle, shoplifters. Now you can't because they'll sue you.
Well, I didn't tackle this guy because I couldn't quite catch him, but because I was already in my mid-30s by then. So, yeah, and I don't know what the fuck I was going to do if I caught him. I mean, he was going towards a car full of people. I would have been, probably wouldn't have ended well for me, but
I would have got this comic book sooner.
Well, yeah, hell, he got a big lead on me because I was just so stunned to see that the guy would actually take off. Took me like a couple seconds. Like, the fuck, he's actually running out at the store with it.
Was this like a young kid too, like going for a Pink Floyd?
He's probably, I don't remember how old he was.
He's in his 40s. I got Pink Floyd.
I don't know.
It's like it's just weird. Like, it's like a 15-year-old to be like goes to your store and steals like a Led Zeppelin CD. It's like, okay, I guess kids are into
kids.
Well, I don't think they probably didn't steal it because they were fans.
Probably the price. Yeah,
that box set was a pricey, pricey item.
Can you describe the guy? He was wearing a Pink Floyd shirt.
I'm sure it got sold to the next place that sells used CDs.
Well, true. That's the thing too. It's like they're my brother-in-law, his younger brother, got one of his guitars stolen, and he got it back because they sold it to the music around in the town, and it had his name on a label on the inside that the thieves didn't see. So on a guitar. So.
Yeah, I'm thinking like when I got broken into, I called all the places in town that sold cards and stuff that I'd already figured out had been stolen. And you don't know if the guy you're talking to is holding the card in one hand,
or if he's legit,
and has the phone in the other, saying, "No, I haven't seen him," as he calculates how much he's going to get for that 54 Ted Williams in mint condition and a big marble thing, that he probably paid the guy $4 for.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. That was on one episode of The Rookie. Like they would these kids would rob people and then go sell their stuff at the the secondhand store, and this guy, and like they came in, like they recognized right away. Oh yeah, and the guy was paying them, buying stolen goods.
Yeah, the record stores in the area and the comic book stores in the area are real good about protecting each other. Yeah, but that's good. So the stuff that you could sell to a pawn shop, or like the cards, and because I got cards, a bunch of old magazines that I had on display, and it's like I said that my Batman Blu-ray set from the 66 series.
Yeah.
But those are the kind of but they didn't steal any music or anything like that, so they didn't go try to take them to another record store. But yeah, so that was unfortunate. But no, I said they came. I had to show them how the break-in happened. And like I said, when I saw Hank Williams on the police report, I kind of lost faith that I would get any resolution out of it.
Right.
And I doubt if they ever lifted another finger on it.
Well, that's the thing. Even if the guy took the blood sample, on that, that glass, or like, okay, your police work, you look for the guy who went to the emergency room because he's got a laceration,
Well, theoretically, blood sample, if you've got him on record, there's something to show
that too.
However, that was the same night that a kid killed his whole family because his dad had taken his Jeep away from him.
Jeez.
Yeah, so I'm guessing all of the cops that had graduated the academy were probably working in that case.
Yeah.
So we didn't exactly have the best and the brightest left over that next day.
One of the comic books comic stores I go to, Lost World Wonders, that's the big box store. Someone had broken into, it was like New Year's Eve, broken into it. And I asked the guy like the Wednesday, after that, because it was over the weekend. And I asked him, like, what did they even take? He's like, oh, Pokemon cards. Yeah. And we got on camera too, facing everything. So I was like, if you're gonna break into something, you're gonna steal something, at least make it hard for people to identify you.
Oh, The comic book place where I work now, again, this was back in the 90s, long before I was working there. These kids broke into the store, and Paul had them on tape. He knew who they were. He knew where they lived.
Yeah.
And the cop said, well, it's obviously an inside job.
Inside or not, the guy who grabbed the stuff out there carrying it out, that's the one you arrest. I don't care if it's an inside
it
was.
Job. It was some Hispanics that lived in the apartment complex across the street. They didn't, I guess cops didn't want to mess with it. They didn't like Paul for some reason. But when we had a store in Erlanger, we got broken into, and the cop told the owner, this was like in the 2 years when my brother didn't own the business, and my friend the lawyer did. Well, they told him it was an inside job there, and he looks at the guy and goes, "They all have keys, dumbass." Because they could come in and clean the place anytime they wanted to if that's what they wanted to do. And you realize just how.
And you just see the cop, his reaction probably was just like, oh.
and at the time I said, my friend was, he's 76 or 7 now and is shrinking. He was a big, imposing man 15 years ago.
Yeah, it said like the guy that person that broke into on that shop on New Year's, they used a hammer, and then like they left the hammer there, so they had the fingerprints over the hammer, and then they also got them like the person on their face and everything. It's just like, and the funny thing is they left the hammer there, and they took the Beta Ray Bill hammer that was in the case, so they traded a hammer for a hammer.
And by the way, let's think that was signaling or singling anybody out.
No,
when I was saying that Hispanics across the street, Paul didn't have any Hispanic employees, so it's like, that's who did it. I don't have anybody that looks like that working here. Right?
It was a hate crime,
but it was just like I said, it's just amazing how.
Well, yeah, there are, like I said, there are good cops and there are bad cops, but a lot of the bad cops make it look seem like there's not any good cops.
Well, and also the reality is break-ins, the odds of ever getting anything back.
True. And I hate that.
Just infinitesimal.
Speaking of that, Batman the Fortress #2 comes out this week.
Wait, what? Batman the Fortress comes out? I would have put that on my list.
I hope you're joking.
That's why I'm totally joking.
I wonder who gets thrown under the bus in issue 2.
I don't know, but like I said, number 1, you can afford to lose that. That's what you get insurance for, Breen.
And that's another thing that people forget it, because I heard they're talking about somebody that happened to, and of course, like I said, the response is, "Oh, you've got insurance. You can build it back." They never talk about the business next to them that doesn't do shit for business because the place next to them just got broken into and violently ransacked, or the business on the other side of them, how it has a ripple effect for the entire area.
Yeah,
and it's amazing how people that probably inherited all their money, just like, oh, what's the big deal? You have insurance.
That's the thing. I used to work at Lowe's, and there for like 6 or almost 8 years there, and they would just like, if it was under $200 per law, it was like Wisconsin stuff, they would not go after them, and then they would just write it off. Now, and it got to the point where most people don't realize this, like, it's organized crime now. Like, there's one guy like who he gets people come in to steal product from one store, and then get in-store credits, and or cash if they can. They did the no receipt. So when they do lowest policy, no receipt, they would put it back on. You get cash, depending what it is, or how big it is. It'd be put back on a gift card. The problem is that you can only do that so many times before you get flagged in the system. So he just kept getting another person. And they know, and the funny thing is, like, I heard from the security guy, like it works there, like the LP loss prevention side. He says, like, they know exactly who the main guy is, but they won't do anything about him because it's easier for them to just write it off, and just that's it. Same with the lawnmowers. People would bring in lawnmowers, like because up here we get winter up here, and people purposely leave their lawnmowers sitting outside, or they wouldn't put the oil in it. So they bring it in the store. Oh, it doesn't work. I'm like, did you put oil in it? And the manager, here comes the manager. Just give him a brand new one. It's like it just got to the point. It's like nobody cares, like, if you get robbed or not, and that's sad because, like, sentiment. Some people have a lot of sentiment. Like, you had sentimental probably attachments to that Batman 66.
Oh yes,
yeah, or just anything. It's just sad. It is sad, and yeah. Eric Breen. I'm reading the fiery but mostly peaceful book from that reporter Julio Rosas, who covered the BL1 riots.
Sorry,
you're not sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
No.
sorry.
Sorry. No.
When I was looking at a comment, I was just about.
Yeah.
I was like, aren't graded comics? Don't they have like unique numbers, like serial numbers? Like, can't they be tracked?
Yes.
Unless they crack it open.
So Undead Quinn says a retail horror stories. He says his comic shop that he goes to, they got robbed of $26,000 of graded comics. But if you have graded books inventoried, like, the only way they could sell those books, I would imagine, is they'd have to break the slabs.
Yeah.
Or it depends on who you sell to. If you're selling to someone disreputable,
yeah, he doesn't care.
Yeah, they're not going to take it. Yeah, maybe the person that they sell them to, re-slab them. Hell, I'm sure there's people that can counterfeit slab shit.
So this guy sold his collection to run a comic shop.
I suppose you could always, if you buy a comic, it's like a 9.6 or something. At worst, you just break it and have it reslabbed. You pay the fee, but if you got a free like comic that's like several grand, paying that slab fee is the price of doing business, I guess.
Yeah.
Morani said she got the white circle of death on the stream, but everyone else is still here.
Yeah. And on that note, I'm out of here, y'all. I'm about to go get some food and go to sleep.
Yeah, we're gonna end this before. We're gonna end this before we become the Open Line Monday.
Yeah, I'm fading too. So
yeah. All right. In Soviet Russia, sell comic shop to get vodka. All right. So yeah, we went a little long, and like I said, I mean, I do like the kick to get down an hour, but like I said, I like having Breen on here. I like having Skip on here. I like having Atch on here. Just think of it as a special edition of Top 5.
Giant size.
Planet size.
Oh, don't remind me of that travesty.
Criminal size.
Now we're talking.
I just gotta say one thing about that.
Outrage.
One day, little Vankman will read some criminal. He'll join us in the.
By the way, real quick before everybody goes, what did you think of the latest installment of Reckless?
Oh wow! Oh, it was good. It was good. I didn't think I was gonna. I like it felt right for them to hand it over to Anna for one, but man, I did not think it was gonna go as smooth as it did. And a certain someone made an appearance at the perfect time. So yeah, I thought it was really good. What'd you think, Ash?
I haven't actually got it yet. The store that I get them from didn't have any as usual. I'm gonna check. He put it on order, and he said it was gonna take 2 weeks. So a week from Wednesday will be when I go back to check.
Okay, nice.
So, right. But yeah, I had totally forgotten that the book had come out. Like I was just in a fade. I don't know. I just wasn't And it was like, oh yeah, that book. And so then when I started looking for it was sold out everywhere.
Yeah, it was good, man.
I think it might be my favorite of the 4.
Oh wow, that's great. That's great to hear.
It's my second favorite for sure. Yeah.
I don't know how many more Recklesses are in the series.
We got the next one in October, and in Ed's newsletter, he said that they're not sure if they're gonna, because they had already gotten started on that one as soon as they were done with the one that just came out. But he said he's not sure if him and Sean are gonna jump straight into the next one or if they're gonna go back to what they were doing before they started doing these Reckless books, which was the sequel to the Fade Out, which is what I want.
Oh, they're gonna do a sequel
whatever
to
they
that?
do.
Yeah, that's
whatever
what
they do.
They stopped doing it to start Reckless.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they do, I just hope it's whatever they just feel inspired to, because I don't have any. I have favorites, but it's not because of any quality. It's not because of just anything, just but quality. Like if it's good, I like it. There's no like, oh, I want them to do Criminal over Reckless. Like just have an inspired story, and that's all I care about. Like just. I'll keep buying them, man. That's the best things in comics is Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips.
Do you know it'd be very criminal for me to host Criminal Cast here?
Oh gosh, that's what I can't allow to happen. That's what I can't allow to happen.
You would have to read a criminal book first, Venkman.
Ooh, that's very true.
You know, it wouldn't take me long to catch up. I'm a fast reader.
This you are. You know what? That's so funny because he was talking about like crime and all this stuff earlier, and I was getting ready to blurt out, but you won't read a criminal any of the criminal books by Brubaker and Phillips?
I read the first issue of the first one.
Yeah. Well,
you know, as you know, Fat Albert would say, he's a man with 4 senses.
All right.
It took me a while to jump on the criminal bandwagon too. I just was not convinced it was going to be something I was.
That's because you're the life serial Mikey of trying new comics.
Oh, you
hate everything until you read it.
If
you go back and watch your old videos,
I just named 5 good new comics that I tried.
No, if you go back and watch your expansive library of content, you will find dozens of. I didn't really care about Justice League. I was never really a fan of the Avengers. I didn't like Spider-Man until it's everyone.
Ironically,
because I was a big Marvel guy, and so there was a reason why I never read DC, and most of that was that reason.
I never liked the Fantastic Four.
Ironically, and he's heckling you. The only book he likes this week is Hit Me. He's telling you something.
Yeah, I'll give Ash credit. He comes around once he gets exposed to something. You know, a lot of times he likes them, but
that's not out of context. That sounds bad.
But I said, if you go back and watch old videos, you do have a tendency to say, "Well, I didn't like this until I." Yeah,
I know.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I said it just.
What I should say is, it didn't seem appealing. Like when I was thinking about criminal books, like what my mind imagined they were and what they actually were 2 different things, and that's usually what the case is. Like
it's with me too.
And
that's a hard case.
Yeah. So when I finally read Criminal, I was like, oh my God, why have I put these off for so long? Like now I get why everyone's talking about it.
It's like, why didn't I listen to Skip and Breen? They know what they're talking about. Why?
I did listen to Skip and Breen.
You know
That's
what?
why
Though,
I read
like I said, one of the reasons I'm not reading, haven't been reading the Brubaker books, is because I've been reading Post-Crisis Superman.
To be fair, the Criminal, my introduction to Criminal was actually from Wes. Wes was the one that originally pushed it, and I was like, oh, whatever.
We don't know who that character is, but I'm sure he'll talk about this in his next video.
It wasn't until you and Skip also started pushing it to me that I was like, oh, there's more to this probably. I should probably check it out.
Right.
Heck yeah.
For those who are still here, we thank you.
Yes.
Maybe you forgot that this was still running in the background.
Good morning, Paulo.
If you like this content, you like seeing, you want more of Skip, you want more of Ash, you want more of Breen, and less puppets. Drop $1 in the bin and maybe it'll happen. Subscribe. Click the notification bell.
But I like being a geeky puppet.
And if you hate this channel, click dislike. All interactions are welcome. Even hate comments. If you don't like anybody on here, just leave a comment saying like, I just can't stand that person.
Hey, we put Marania to sleep.
And when Marani says go, we'll leave.
Second Big Bang later.
The sun exploding. We're still going.
Well, it was good talking to you guys about comics.
Yep.
Always.
We'll have to do this again sometime. Maybe not quite as long.
We're available.
I enjoyed the conversation too.
Yeah. Thursday night, we have a retrospective after the best of the week. What issue of Wolverine?
Fantastic Four 168, 9, and 170.
Yes. And written by who? By who?
Roy Thomas and I believe Rich Buckler on art. And and if anybody wants to take a break from endless CW reviews, tomorrow night's Fossil show is going to be hosted by Gratu Orloff. So you can find us over there tomorrow.
I'm sure they'll be gone from this channel in a flash.
Aha!
Yes. All right, good night. Hope you guys enjoyed this. See you on Thursday.
See ya,
kids.
And if you don't come back, I don't blame you.